Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Let's get things started. We'll start the show in about 60 seconds. I just want to give you a chance to like and share today's show. As you can see from today's cover art, I want to kick things off talking about the latest outrage surrounding the Obama girls. Apparently, Sasha posted some sexy pictures, and mofos act like they don't know what to do. Memo to Twitter, stop overreacting every time Sasha Obama posts a picture. What the hell? Just like people overreacted because some women were twerking. The hell? Stop it. I'll break it all down culturally. Also, I'll keep you up to date on what's happening in terms of people, politics, and pleasure. It's the Nathan Ivey Show, Cincinnati's first daily digital talk show that focuses on the Black community and your morning destination for interesting conversation. Again, hit the like button, hit the share button, and we'll get started in 60 seconds. Hey, good morning to the choppers. Good morning, folks. How are you? Hope you had a good 24 hours.
The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent. You're listening to the Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. Now let's get back to the flow.
Yeah, talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a fuck, that's what they don't understand.
I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a fuck, I don't care. Did the for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, on my totem is nothing. In the discussion, for the feelings I throw on my pain on percussion. The disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you almost spotted the feast. I've been on go mode, showboat, rowboat, wave ride. Cool shorty, too naughty, pool party, wet for the face ride. Annie up, penny down, hand me down, thrift store, old drip. New money, too funny, old shorty talking about, oh. I'm on they now, can't
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I want to talk about some new-ish this morning. How are you? Hope you're doing well. As you can see from today's cover art, I do want to talk about the latest fake outrage on Twitter. Twitter gets so fake outrage from time to time. Black Twitter in particular, I'm calling you out. What the hell is wrong? To all my people on Twitter, please like and share today's podcast so that the world knows there's some folks out there that's got some damn common sense. Good morning to you. Welcome back to the show. Nathan Ivey, one man, one microphone, one mission. Yeah, I got a bunch of critics. So what? I hear you. Let's do what we do every morning, family. Let's get together and talk about the latest. All right. As I like to say from time to time, back from my hiatus, my 24-hour hiatus. I'm like a damn cicada. Every 24 hours, I'm here. I ain't going nowhere. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. We trendsetters out here. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Welcome. Come on into the show. Come on into the show. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. 513-873-7134. Hope you're doing well. Last 24 hours, I'm okay. I got to start this way, man. Any latest on that little boy, Nilo Lattimore? That story is really tugging on my heartstrings, man. I got a little boy myself, so I see my children in the faces of all these brown babies out here. You know what I'm saying? I ain't no different. I project the love and what I have for my family onto other families, especially black families. So again, I haven't heard the latest. I posted yesterday. I just had to do something with my emotions, and so I used social media last night just to share just a little bit and connect with people. Damn shame. Police looking for this 3-year-old. Hope they find him. You know, prayers up on that, most definitely. Again, 513-873-7134. That is my number, and it's a free number anywhere in the country. In some places, in some places around the world. Okay, it's a free number. If you missed it last night, Fast Pitch, she did her podcast, the Valet Service podcast, had some technical difficulties, so she ended up going straight live, straight to her page, and then we shared it out last night. I thought it was a great conversation. I think very highly about what she's doing and her talents. I feel very blessed to work with her, as I do with all the folks I'm working with. Yesterday, the Midday Juice podcast with Ask Ashley. I said before, Ashley, she ain't new to this. Very entertaining, very entertaining show. If you don't know, if you're old enough, if I say Ask Abby, that might jog a bell, might ring a bell or jog a memory or something. But essentially, it's like she answers questions from the audience on a variety of things. It ends up being a lot about love and things that are going on. But she gets hella questions and weeds through them, trying to figure out what she wants to talk about. And she's very entertaining in terms of how she does what she does. And if you missed it, please check it out. And then lift up her podcast, fam. If you rock with me, lift up with all the folks I'm working with. Lift them up. Give them a look, share it, give them a second and third look. Because my mission is real simple. My mission is to build independent media, to build black and amplify black voices, primarily here in the greater Cincinnati area and then beyond. All right. So if that's something you feel like you can get with, great. Why do we need independent media? Well, in my opinion, as the checks and balances, and I've already proven it with this show. This show has broken news stories that end up having a huge impact. Some would say even in the last election that we had in November. And I just feel like there's a place for both. And as 2021 approaches, I got many, many plans that I think that you will enjoy and you'll get something out of, right? And also, I think there's a hole. There's something that's lacking, not just in the greater Cincinnati area, but in particular, there's a real gap there that I see that perhaps others may not see. And I'm endeavoring to fill that gap. With the kind of content that amplifies us, that lifts us up. I'm not interested in building any kind of platform that's going to tear us down. Will we have divergent conversations? Yeah. Will we get emotional? Oh, absolutely. Will we disagree vehemently? Oh, absolutely. It's all a part of it. It's all a part of it. But I 100% believe in what we are doing. And I see us making headway every single day. And if that's something you feel like you can get down with, then please like and in particular share today's video. And then check us out on Facebook. That's been the main portal. That's going to change very quickly in terms of where you can check out those videos. But keep watching and keep supporting. I really appreciate you. Shout out to all of my patrons this morning. I'll be shouting out my patrons as I do monthly, just to further recognize the people that have made, a long-term commitment to the platform that we're building. I appreciate it 100%. Shout out to Team NI. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my Spreaker family. Appreciate you. Now, coming up at 9 a.m. this morning, I am scheduled to speak with a film critic. His name is T.T. Stearns Enzi. Some of you that rock with me way back, going back, I mean, he's been on this show since we've been digital, but we really started that conversation, that relationship way back in my corporate days. And I always love our conversation. I love anybody that's got passion. Anybody's got passion about what they do. I love that. Give me somebody with passion any single day of the week to talk to. I don't care what it is. You can be passionate about hunting, but if you got a lot of passion about it, I think it'll be an interesting conversation. That's just me. Others might feel differently. But he is scheduled to give us a call this morning, a Zoom call this morning at 9 a.m. and talk about what he's been watching and hopefully reprise his role as the film critic for this show. I think he's on Fox 19, weekdays now, doing something similar. And that's great. I've seen him do other streams. That's 100% great. And you might see a podcast coming soon. You might see that as well. What's up, brother TT? You already know. Let's get it. Oh, later. All right. Thundercats. I think it was something like that. Maybe it might have been a bad Thundercats impression. If so, forgive me. 513-873-7134. You see my number flashing here on the screen. Listen, let me jump straight into this first conversation. Again, I'm going to jump around. You know me. I typically end up talking about a lot of different things. It's a daily show, so I want to make sure that on a daily basis we're talking about what other people are talking about and what's relevant, at least in my eyes. But I want to start here, man, because I'm so damn sick. Just like I told you last week, memo to the Darrens and Karens to leave Mike Vick alone. I'm telling you this week, memo to Twitter, in particular Black Twitter, if that's who it is. Leave Sasha Obama the alone. Damn. Every time this young girl make a move, people got something to say about it. It's all hate. That's all it really is. Y'all hating on different levels. Leave this young girl alone. She's a sophomore in college, and every time she posts a damn picture, these mofos lose their mind. Yeah. Calling this young girl a thought. Talking about she posting thirst trap pictures, which might be true. But thought? We're going to have to come to some definition of what thought means. Acronym, that hoe over there. I don't see a hoe. I see a young girl who's in college doing what young girls in college do. They post sexy pictures on social media. That's what they do. The game done changed. People are meeting each other, meeting people in the digital space now. It's what they do. And if wearing a two-piece bikini makes you a thought, then it's a whole lot of thoughts out there. Please stop it. And then like this overreaction, maybe it's because, of who they are, they father, they are, the first Black first family. So I think people start projecting what they perceive the Black first family should be. But what I would say is say that for the people in your own family. That's what you really need to worry about. Leave this young girl alone. God damn it. Anytime I see this, it burns me up. I'm tired of reading this nonsense. Every time she posts a picture, people want to overreact. I don't see anything wrong with either one of those pictures. I don't see a thought. Is it a thirst trap? Meaning like, she's trying to attract, whoever she's trying to attract, presumably members of the opposite sex, perhaps. But so what? She grown. She college grown. This is what people do in college. It's what they do these days. You got women older than her posting pictures much more risque than that. Leave it alone. We just love to criticize Black women. I'm the defender of Black women where it's necessary. Where y'all wrong, I'm the Thanos. I'm just here to tell you, y'all need to stop. And anybody that feels this way, I don't get it. If you got some young women in your family, tell them that. This woman is not in your family. Let Michelle and Barack deal with that. Now, can she go too far and all this stuff? She posted a picture or video of her dancing the City Girls. People went crazy. Why are they dancing the City Girls? More of this culture. There's more of this elitism. I ain't better than you because I don't listen to city girls. I ain't better than you because I don't twerk in public. Will you stop, please? Can you stop? I'm just asking, is it even possible for you to stop? Some of y'all can't stop yourselves. I get it. Some of y'all cannot stop yourselves. You just can't do it. All right? I detect no problems. CDM has a little problem detector. Let me run it real quick. I detect no problems. I see nothing wrong with this. I see no issues with it whatsoever. So what? She got a bikini on. She got a little something around her waist. What is she, 22? She's 22. Okay, it could be a whole lot worse, fam. Trust me, it could be a whole lot worse. This would be a whole lot worse. Now, do I expect for them, or should they be held to a higher standard? I mean, you could say, yeah, or maybe by her parents, not by these mofos on Twitter calling her this young girl a thought. Oh my God, we's our own worst enemies. Sometimes black folks can be their own worst enemy. Don't go get something to do, man. Gosh. Just like these Michael Vick folks, man. Michael Vick way past paying his dues to society. I don't think he ever should have went to jail in the first goddamn place, in my opinion. He only went to jail because he was rich with cornrows. That's the only reason why. Oh, we got you now. We got you now. Some of these dudes going, men, I looked at the stuff on Twitter. Some of these are dudes going hard at a young woman because of what she's dressing. I think they're just hating because they ain't got a shot. Damn it, get some business. Get some business. Here in the city of Cincinnati, I haven't looked outside yet, but they're talking about snow and a wintry mix. That damn wintry mix. Damn wintry mix. I hate the wintry mix. Just make a decision. Is it ice? Is it water? All this in between-ish, man. Stop it. Make a decision. But, you know, with CPS, because of remote learning, guess what? You ain't got to deal with it. Yeah, it's great. Speaking of CPS, where they got Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, guess what? Y'all off for 2 weeks. Hooray! Hooray, enjoy your break. Don't come in here with that damn Santa Claus nonsense, but enjoy your break. Enjoy your break. In the Ivey household, my children are looking forward to Friday. They're looking forward to it because they don't have to be in virtual learning. You know what I'm saying? They're looking forward to it. And again, there's some things about this virtual learning that I love. I love the fact that my children are home every day. I love it. I know they're safe. I love it. Now, is it let me tell you, a 5-year-old, soon to be 6-year-old, virtual learning, he's starting to settle into it. I must say that. We're noticing that he's starting to be more focused and understand, okay, this is focus time. It took him months. Because that boy would be turned around, playing with Spider-Man toys. I'm like, what the hell, bro? Teacher asked him a question. He's like, huh? I don't know. They got the sweetest voices at that age. They do. They have the sweetest voices at that age. But as a father, some things that really just reaffirms me that my children are safe. I ain't got to worry about them being bullied. I ain't got to worry about transporting them. They're right here in the home. I ain't got to worry about checking teachers and administrators. Kinda, because some of these teachers, they had to ease into their role in terms of being digital. But for the most part, no issues with theirs. I mean, so I'm loving it. I'm loving it. 513-873-7134. If you would like to share your thoughts this morning, I am here to receive it. More and more talk about the vaccine. Oh, back up. Somebody actually referred to, and get this, I mean, this is going too far. Somebody, you've heard of Megan Thee Stallion, right? And I support that sister. You know what I'm saying? She can be two things at one time. She can be super sexy and also be conscious. I ain't got no people, Megan Thee Stallion. I mean, we talked about this maybe a couple months back when they put out that song WAP. As a grown man, I'm quite fond of WAP, by the way. Love me some WAP. All day, every day. I'll take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 helpings of some WAP. Love it. You hear me? I'm loving it. Love some WAP. But I'm grown. Everything ain't for kids. This idea that every music that's got to come out has got to be good for kids in the room is boring as hell. That's boring. That's boring as hell. Who wants to live in a world where everything is tailored toward kids? I know I don't. That would be boring as hell. You know what I'm saying? I am grown and love it. Couldn't wait to get grown. We got to talk about some of the stuff that's happening around the country. Listen, I'm going to throw a bunch of things out there because I want to give you some stories to start your morning. And then I'm going to come back around and whatever you want to talk about is all gravy with me. But you've heard of Megan Thee Stallion, right? Why were people calling Sasha Obama Sasha the Stallion? Sasha the Stallion. That girl. One is an entertainer. The other is a part of the former first black family. It ain't the same, yo. And then, like it or not, Megan Thee Stallion, and I like her. I like the name. I like what she's doing. She twerk a whole lot, but I'm a man. I'm pro twerking. I'm pro-choice when it comes to twerking. I got no problem with it. You ain't gonna shame me to not like what I like. Why are you twerking? That's some of those black elitists, right? Some of this classism, this black classism, like, I twerk at home. Stop it. Stop it. Why they gotta embarrass us? I ain't embarrassed because somebody else doing something. That's them. Sasha the Stallion. Now, the Twitter is hilarious, man. Twitter is funny and fun. I'm all about the funny and the fun, right? That's hilarious, but come on, y'all wrong for that. Let this young girl breathe. Let her breathe. Let her be 21, 22, 23. You remember what it was like to be 21, 22, 23. It was fun time. Your brain ain't fully developed yet. Your brain, they say, don't develop until you're 25, 26. Her brain ain't even fully developed. Despite the development of her body. Please stop. Please stop. I'm reading that 50 children in Georgia were exposed to the virus. Would you like to know how? Yeah, 50 children in Georgia were exposed to the virus. Would you like to know how? And shout out to my people down in Georgia just trying to raise awareness about that senator's race down at the runoff elections down there. That means everything in terms of the near future for any kind of progressive policies coming out of the Biden-Harris administration. I'm just saying, shout out to my folks down in Georgia is putting in that work. But again, 50 children were exposed to the potentially deadly novel coronavirus. Would you like to know how? They were exposed while taking holiday pictures with Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus. Apparently, they had an annual Christmas parade and a tree lighting ceremony, right? It took place on Thursday, December the 10th. And Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus were there. And while they didn't exhibit any symptoms at the event, they recently both tested positive for the coronavirus. And thereby, they exposed up to about 50 children. I'm going to ask you a question here, and I want you to answer this. This is a very serious question. What kind of parent during a pandemic is taking their kids to see a fucking Santa Claus, take pictures with Santa Claus while this virus is ravaging through our entire country. Is that good parenting? You know how I feel about that Santa Claus ish, right? I ain't on it. You know how I feel about this pandemic ish, right? I ain't playing no games with it. I'll let you cry and show sympathy. I'm on some tough love type stuff. I ain't got no sympathy and no tears for people out here playing games with the virus, and then you get the virus. I ain't gonna shed no tears for you. You know, you mask deniers and COVID-19 deniers, if you get it, you get it. Whatever happens, happens. More clean water and air for the rest of us. You know how I feel about this. But this is a different kind of stupid right here. This is a whole nother level of irresponsibility. Like, really? You're taking your kids to a tree lighting ceremony and then allowing your children to take photographs with a freaking Santa Claus. And then we all know that Santa Claus is not real. So this is a man, a human, male and female species, dressed up and paid to portray a fictional character. See, these are parents that haven't told their kids the truth about Santa. And so their kids keep talking about Santa. And see, sometimes I think what happens is, and I'm trying to make sense of all of this. See, sometimes what happens is like, your kids can be a real big influence on you. Dad, I want to see Santa. I want to see Santa. Santa, 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 Santa. There's some parents out there spend all year long, and especially once you get to like, you know, fall, they start really turning up that Santa thing, and they try to use Santa to keep their kids in line. Well, you ain't gonna get no praise. You better get them grades together. You better obey your teacher, or else Santa Claus is not gonna drop you anything off. So Santa Claus becomes like a mythical, like disciplinarian or some ish in the family. So you got to pay the kids off. You've invested all year long and years and years and years to this lie. You've turned Santa Claus into like a fictional, invisible uncle. You know, Uncle Santa Claus, you ain't gonna get no gifts from Uncle Santa Claus. So now they got to pay it off by taking the kids to go see Santa Claus during a pandemic. I just want to see by a show of hands, emoji hands, thumbs up. Who thinks this is a good idea? So what you doing out here? And so now these children and then all their families, because you can't like isolate your kids away from the family. You can isolate the adults away from the kids, depending on the structure of the family, but you can't put your kids like all by themselves and they have no interaction with mom and dad. That's hard to do, especially if they're young kids, which presumably they are, because teenagers, they don't give a damn about no Santa Claus. They know the truth. They'd be way more happy if you was taking them to go see Travis Scott. Oh, Travis Scott? Oh, snap. We got to go see that. Let me get a quarter pounder of cheese, some French fries, and some barbecue sauce. Isn't that the Travis Scott meal at McDonald's? I'll never eat it unless there's an apocalypse. Other than that, I'll never know about it. Quote, I have personally known both Santa and Mr. Claus my entire life. And I can assure everyone that they would have never knowingly done anything to place any children in danger. Why is this man who is the, why is he talking about, I personally know Santa and Mr. Claus? What? I don't trust adults that believe in this Santa Claus nonsense. I don't trust you. Because if you lie to your kids, you'll lie to me about any damn thing. You feel me on that? I don't trust you. I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to make a bold statement this morning. I don't trust you, period. Run around this mofo talking about some damn Santa Claus. The what the hell? Hold on, let me double check my phones. Make sure that, you know, the number's coming to where it needs to come through this morning. You can always give me a call and share your thoughts. Agree or disagree, whatever it is, at 513-873-7134. Matter of fact, I don't expect that throughout all the CDM podcasts at this point. Go ahead and lock me in. Go ahead and lock me in. Put it under, you know, CDM or Nathan Ivey Show or whatever whatever show you want to call. You can go ahead and lock us in. Yeah. We good. We good. Numbers coming to me. We good. This mofo wrote, and it's supposed to be a grown up. Hold on, let me see exactly who this is. I think it's a rep from the city. I'll take this. This is his name is Robert Parker. He's the chairman of the Long County Commission. And that's who made that statement. I personally know Santa and Mrs. Santa and Mrs. Claus. I've known them my entire life. And I can assure everyone that they would have never knowingly done anything to place any children in danger. Were they given a coronavirus before they put on the Santa suit? Were parents walking around putting their kids on Santa's lap? I just can't believe that during the pandemic that anybody's doing that. I don't give a damn what they're doing in the mall. My kids wasn't taking no pictures with Santa Claus anyway, across the board. In particular, they ain't sitting on no white Santa Claus lap, period. You can think what you want to think about it. It ain't happening, Captain. But during the pandemic, what kind of parent does something like that? We are living in the last days, my friend. I'll put it just like that. I keep saying it. And every single day we get more evidence that this is absolutely 100% true. Every single day. It's a damn shame. But let me jump inside the chop shop this morning and see what's popping. Jared writes, good morning, hashtag Team and I. Good morning to you, Jared. Miss D writes, greetings. Hey, good morning, Miss D. Sharp writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you, Sharp. Brenda writes, happy Wednesday. Ray writes, here. Cassandra writes, hey, Choppers. Gregson, hey, Gregson, I did get that link, man. I did listen to it, and I'll send you some thoughts after the show today. He writes, good morning, hashtag alt middle. Clue Magic writes, Grand Risings, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Mike Jones writes, good morning, Choppers. Miss D writes, Sasha don't owe nobody nothing. Let her live. Thank you. Let this young girl live. I don't see what the problem is. I really don't. But I know what the problem is. Like, I don't see what the problem is in terms of like her behavior, because she's just 21, 22. That's what 21 and 22-year-olds do in today's culture. They post racy photographs on Instagram and on TikTok, and they dance to City Girls. Okay. You know, we used to wild out to, 2 Live Crew. And then, all these people like, man, look at our culture. We want to tell young girls this. Man, stop it. Stop it. I don't believe it. The older I get, the more I realize that the culture that you create in your house is the most powerful thing that you can do for the young people in your house, period. If you letting them watch it and all this kind of stuff, it is what it is. Lee writes, is it wrong to live stream a close family member funeral via Facebook Live? No. We man, we had somebody close to us. He posted that inside the friends page. I'll answer real quick. No, I don't. I think it's responsible, actually, because not everybody is going to funerals. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody is a funeral person. And now with the coronavirus, they put restrictions on how many people can actually go to these services. You know what I'm saying? How do I know? Because we're dealing with it right now. Like I said, my father-in-law passed away over the weekend. My wife's father passed away over the weekend. The man who my children called Paw Paw, right? They were very upset about it. There were tears. Passed away over the weekend, so we're dealing with it right now. And, what we were told is you could only bring 20 people to the service. Now, he got way more than 20 friends and family members. So what's that? What everybody else going to do? You're going to have to live stream it in. And I am a cardiac patient. So I'm super, super sensitive about where I go and what I do. You know what I'm saying? The longer this goes, the more sensitive and the more stringent that I am, meaning the less places I'm going. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And so a live stream for me is right up where I'm, in terms of the way I look at COVID, it works perfectly, Lee. Hope that answers the question for you, man. Do you, man? Do you. Good morning to you. Has it? Hey, shout out to Crystal Williams. I appreciate her. Shout out to Akeem. Shout out to Crystal, Kiki, Ray. Thank you so much, Ray. Biden taps former rival Pete Buttigieg for U.S. Transportation Secretary. Great. I'm glad they're not keeping Mitch McConnell's wife. It seems like through every administration, she comes back again as the transportation secretary. Glad to see it. What's up, brother Omar? Appreciate you. Hey, Danita, thank you so much. Parent faces charges after renting party bus for kids' 14th birthday party in Mount Healthy. A party bus? During the pandemic? I mean, wait a minute. That's against protocol right there. Let me read this story. Danita posted this from Mount Healthy, Ohio. How many people live in Mount Healthy that's watching? Please like and share this video, the stream. A party bus rented for a teen's 14th birthday party ended with about 60 juveniles being stranded in the Hilltop Shopping Center. 60 people on a party bus is against protocol, family. Around 10 p.m., officers on patrol in the area saw a large unmarked bus go into the shopping center's parking lot. Once stopped, the bus unloaded around 60 juveniles. Several fights between the teens broke out and officers had to call for assistance. You know what I blame? I blame the Hilltop Shopping Center. That shopping center must be cursed. Because didn't I just read about, I think Kelly Prather was like doing a live stream from it. Didn't they just have another incident like a year or so ago? People was fighting in the parking lot. I blame the parking lot. The parking lot is cursed. People say one of the teens even tried punching an officer. The driver of the bus refused to let around 60 teens back on board and took off from the scene. That's hilarious, really? That's hilarious. I ain't mad at the driver. I ain't mad at you. Say, oh, y'all hit him with the Russell Westbrook, right? Y'all niggas tripping. Like, what? Y'all niggas tripping. I'm out of here. I'm out of here, yo. That's hilarious, man. That is hilarious. So the bus driver just took off and stranded the teens. He said 10 p.m. I mean, doesn't that break the curfew? Isn't there a statewide curfew or something like that? I mean, this is hella irresponsible. The parent responsible for this has been identified and will be charged with violating Governor Mike DeWine's orders. Mount Healthy also has its own curfew, which says any minor under the age of 14 cannot stay in or upon a public place within the city between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. I gotta be honest with you. I mean, this seems hella irresponsible to me. Hella irresponsible. This is what we doing out here in Mount Healthy? Who is the adult? If my child said, look, Dad, I want you to rent a bus, even without the pandemic, I want you to rent a party bus. At 14, my daughter's 15, the answer is no. And if we do rent a party bus, let's say we do, because I don't think a party bus in and of itself is so outrageous, okay? What's the difference between renting a party bus and like renting out some venue? Not a whole lot. Just one has wheels and is mobile, which means it's hella more dangerous. But 60 people on the bus? That was a super spreader event. Come on, Mom, Dad. We got to be better than this. We got to do better than this. Are you mad at the driver? The driver was like, skeet, skeet. I'm out of here. Y'all ain't paying me enough for this. I bet you that's what the driver said. Always thinking, I'm out. Quote, it puts the people involved at risk and unfortunately us as well. Something we have to respond to. It was well over the allotted mandate of people that were allowed to be together and almost to the curfew time. Are you telling me there was no parent on the bus? Officers found out that the invite was posted on social media, allowing for anyone to come. That's how you get 60 people. Probably the person involved, the teenagers involved, the persons whose birthday it was, right? They was like, everybody can come. I mean, the children, I don't blame the children as much as the adult. I blame whoever rented the bus for two reasons. Number one, you should have been on the bus to make sure that there was a maximum amount of people on the bus. Number one, I think it's irresponsible because close quarters, coronavirus equals super spreader event. So right there, pump the brakes. We ain't doing it off the top. Secondly, there was no adult supervision other than the driver on the bus. You think that's a good idea with 14-year-olds and Mount Healthy? It's just bad idea. And then lastly, and of course, maybe most importantly, perhaps, is there is a curfew put in place by the state and also by, is it the village of Mount Healthy? Oh my gosh. Thank you for the post, fam. So I wanted to set the table for you this morning, share with you, talk about whatever you want to talk about. I mean, I'm open and flexible. Plus, I'll keep you up to date on what's happening between now and the end of the show. And also don't forget, coming up at 9 a.m. in approximately 39 minutes, we're scheduled to get a Zoom call or a call from T.T. Stearns Enzi, and he'll be talking about what he's watching. He's a film critic, a man who's passionate about Mount Media, and I'm looking forward to that. But let me go back to the Chop Shop this morning. Damn it! Ray writes, what's City Girls? City Girls is a rap group. It's a duo, two black females, and they talk about Ussy. They have sexually explicit lyrics and adult themes. And like I keep telling people, I love a world where there's things that are for adults. I am 100% an adult. You are looking at a man in every way. You are looking at a heterosexual black man, and I embrace it and love it, and I ain't going to apologize about it for nobody. You're looking at a man who is pro-choice when it comes to twerking. Ladies' choice. Do you? You know what I'm saying? I like The Wire. I like stuff that's made for adults. You know what I'm saying? I don't really watch a lot of cartoons unless I'm watching it with my son. Other than that, I'm not into cartoons anymore. You know what I'm saying? Before I got married, it was not uncommon for you to come to our house. Most people's house, you go to their house and they got like magazines. You're going to see some adult magazines. You know why? Because adults live there with no children. And of course, we changed that, once kids came in. But I want you to understand who you're looking at. So City Girls don't bother me. And that song WAP didn't really bother me at all. I liked the song, actually, personally. And all the gyrations, I loved all of that. So I don't get all super sensitive about things that are for adult. It's for adults. Everything in this world shouldn't be for no damn kids. That's a boring ass life. Y'all might disagree with that. Okay, it is what it is. I mean, I'm okay with that. So that's what City Girls is. They got some raunchy music, and I love it. I don't really listen to it, but it is what it is. Crystal writes, good morning. Hey, good morning to you, Crystal. Thank you so much for the post. Ken Kobla writes, Jovan Adepo and Whoopi Goldberg star in Stephen King's The Stand on CBS Access 12/17. Remember that big ass book. Yeah, that's your peoples right there. Jovan Adepo. Pro Tootsie Roll advocacy here. He writes, let Sasha get her eagle. That's patriotism. Pamela writes, Sasha's only 19. Are we sure that's her in the picture? Doesn't look like her to me. Photo hasn't been confirmed. Look, 19 is grown. Once you hit 18, guess what? You're grown. I don't see a big difference between 19, 20. Now, 21 is different because you can drink now. 19, 20, same to me. The only difference with 21 is now you're legal. We just had Tracy on the line, but she hung up. So Tracy called me back. I was connecting you to the people. I was trying to get you online. So call me back. I'll put you straight on. 513-873-7134. 19 is legally an adult. If she want to post sexy pictures, let that girl do that. And she's not a thought. That's Sasha Obama, by my recollection, all day long. If she want to dance to the city girls and twerk to the city girls, let her do that on her TikTok page. If you don't like city girls and you don't like twerking, then guess what? I got some advice for you. Don't do it. But you got the dancing police, the culture police out there. They want to tell us how we can do this and how we can do that. Yeah, I'm going back to that brother down in Dallas. I thought the comments were reprehensible, quite honestly. A lot of classism. I don't twerk in public. Maybe you should be. Maybe you should be twerking in public. I don't know. Let me go to the phones here and say good morning. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
What's up, Nate? It's Tracy.
Hey, Tracy. Good morning.
Well, you don't believe your friend and you think I lied to you because my kids believe in Santa Claus?
Yeah. If you out here spreading that Santa Claus myth, you suspect. Period.
Then
Please tell me that's not you, Tracy.
That Black Panther gospel, because Black Panther ain't real either.
Yeah, but I know that.
And your son believes in Black Panther.
No, my son believes, hold on. My son believes that Black Panther is a comic book character. And my son also knows that Santa Claus ain't real. He'll tell you.
So what's wrong with, hold on, we got no emergencies down here. What's wrong with just having fun with the whole thought of Christmas and your kids are little and, you know, the way their faces light up, and because that's all it is.
Well,
we're not asking them to believe in them and praise them like Santa Claus is Jesus Christ. It's just a fun little game that you play when you're a new parent and, you know, their first holiday is coming around. It's no different than, you know, people going out and dressing up on Halloween. Some people try and crucify parents because they let their kids believe in a pagan holiday. And my kids did Halloween for a minute.
You asked me what's wrong with it?
Yeah, what's wrong with the whole parent having fun with their kids in the holidays?
Well, this is my opinion. So here's what my problem is.
Yeah, but you're crucifying parents.
Yeah, I am crucifying parents.
And telling us you don't believe in us and we lie to you because we lie to our kids.
Yes, exactly.
You know, we're such horrible parents.
Well, I mean, I didn't say horrible.
We play this game.
Right. So, in my opinion, what's wrong with it is, number one, it's a lie. Number two, I just see it as a part of the overall, you know, cultural appropriation and the mind control that they put on black folks. Like Santa Claus, yeah, it's a race issue. It's a cultural appropriation issue in the sense that Santa Claus is traditionally predicted as a Caucasian male. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, most of the time.
And then for me, as a black man living in America, it becomes a part of the larger picture of cultural appropriation to convince us that white people are benevolent, that they're all the heroes, that they're Jesus Christ, and I ain't with it. That's just my personal view on it. Now, some people might feel differently.
I just think that's all. And I mean, I get it when you think about it as an adult, but sometimes the things that we project onto our kids is just way too deep and they're not even ready for. I just say, let the kids have fun. You know, just like you say, let Sasha Obama have fun. Let the kids have fun. Everybody has fun in stages. And I just think it's way too deep. But, you know,
I don't see what the fun is.
We all parent how we parent, right?
Yeah, I mean, we all parent how we parent, but I don't see what the fun is. Where's the fun in lying to your kids? I don't get it.
I mean, if you see it as a lie, then you don't get it. But I just see it as fun. I mean, parents tell lies on so many different scales. I mean, sometimes you don't even tell your kids what's going on, but you make shit look good at home, and it's a damn lie. I mean, it is what it is. It's just, I don't know. I just don't see it as that way. I just see it as, you know, we gonna play this game for a little bit. You know, put the cookies out on Christmas and have some fun with it. I don't even think that. Oh shit, this is really slick out here. I don't even think that my kids at that age looked at Santa Claus as a white man. You know what I mean? He was Santa Claus. He wasn't the white Santa Claus or the black Santa Claus. He was just Santa Claus. He was just somebody that supposedly came down the chimney and brought toys and all of that. All the rest of that stuff is just way too deep. But, you know, it is what it is.
I'm kind of mad at you for bringing Black Panther into it, just a little bit.
I know you are, but you know that's what I do. You know, I like you. What do you call it? Damn, I can't even think of the word right now because this whole Kroger parking lot is a sheet of ice. You know how you what do you say? Like strike a chord, or what do you say? What do you call it when you do that? When you irritate people on purpose. You have a name for that.
Trigger.
That's what I'm doing. I'm just picking your nerves.
You talking about trigger people?
Yeah, trigger. That's the word. I'm just trying to trigger you. That's all.
It's all good. You be safe out there. Be safe out there.
Huh?
I said, be safe out there.
Yeah, you throw up a prayer for me because I got to drive 30 minutes to work today. And it's not like coming down or anything, but it is slick out here. So y'all be careful if you got to go out today. Wednesdays are my days to go into the office, and it's going to be a slow ride today.
Be safe out there, Tracy. That's what's really important. I appreciate the call.
All right, have a good one.
Yeah, most def. Yeah, be safe, man. Whoo, be safe. That's what's important. Make sure you go back to that family, that beautiful family of yours. But don't bring Black Panther into it. Black Panther has nothing to do with this. I mean, my kids have fun. And see, that's what I'm trying to share with parents. Number one, I want to open your eyes up to and open your mind up to the idea of just how deep the cultural appropriation is and where it really starts. It starts when we're younger. It starts as kids. You know, you got Black kids out there who got lower self-esteem, don't feel good about themselves. Why is it? Because they was brought up in a world, in a country, in a society, in a culture in which all the great things are done by white folks. All the great people, all the greatest heroes are all white. Superman is white, Captain America is white, Jesus is white, and Santa is white. And you're right, you know, little kids, they don't really see no difference per se, but it starts when you're young in terms of like getting in their head about what's good and what's bad, who's smart, who's not. Starts very, very young. And again, we never played that game with the kids. When we want to play games with the kids, then we play games with the kids. Hold on, I'm texting with T.T. Stearns, Enzy. He's scheduled to give us a call at 9 a.m. Again, this is just me. It's a conversation piece. It ain't got to be nothing super serious per se. But do you? Here's what I found out about children as we get ready for Santa Claus, who is spreading COVID down in Georgia. Santa and Mr. Santa and Mrs. Claus are spreading coronavirus down in Georgia. But anyway, here's what I know about kids. As long as there's presents under the table, kids don't give a damn who dropped them off. You can make up a name. You say XYZ dropped them off. Oh, XYZ's here? Oh, tell XYZ I said thank you. Kids don't care. Parents play those games for them. You're doing that for you. You quit trying to say you're doing it for the kids. You're doing that because you like it. Because the kids don't give a damn. All they care about is are their presents under the tree. How do I know? I've tested it. Trust me, they don't care. They don't care. You doubt what I'm saying? You know, put somebody else's name on a gift for your kid and see if they play with it any differently. Y'all need to stop. Talking about some Santa Claus. But when you go get them the really, really big gift, that's from mom and dad, ain't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know it is. Yeah, they got all them gifts under the tree. But that PlayStation 5, that's from mom and dad, ain't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you ain't gonna give Santa credit now, are you? Nope. So please stop. Good morning to you, though. 513-873-7134. Damn, I meant to ask her about Mount Healthy. I know she's out in Forest Park. And apparently mom is gonna have a bad Christmas. That's not smart because she paid for a party bus for her 14-year-old's birthday party. It appears that it was unsupervised. It's just, and then the party bus was up at the Hilltop Plaza at 10 p.m. There's a curfew put in place at 10. Everybody got to be home. And on top of it, what I'm reading, Mount Healthy has a curfew. Come on, folks. Kids don't get everything they want for their birthday. Sometimes you got to say no. Like, damn, under normal times, son, daughter, I'd love to do this for you. But we're living during a pandemic. So the answer is no. What's wrong? See how easy that is? I don't get it. But let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nate. This is Donita. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Donita. I'm doing great. Welcome.
I just wanted to say, like, for me, the whole Santa Claus thing, it's just fun. Like, for us, we bake the cookies. We track him on the tracker. My son will call his cousins and say, hey, we got to get ready to go to bed because they said he's going to be here in an hour. It's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? I think that as adults, we make it more of a big deal because they just want to have fun. That's it. Who cares what color Santa Claus is? We told our son he's whatever color you are in your house. So if you're white, he's white. If you're black, he's black. If you're Chinese, he's Chinese. So he really doesn't care.
That's interesting, Donita. Damn. Well, you know what? In my experience, kids don't really care about Santa. You know, what I found is the fun is all about being with the family and opening up new stuff, like getting gifts. And I've actually tested it.
For us, it isn't. For us, it's everything that also leads up to that. Like I said, baking the cookies, you know what I'm saying? Tracking them on the tracker. So it's not just about the presents. Now, if that's all you're worried about is the presents, then yeah, it's not going to be fun.
Right. So what I'm saying is if you extracted Santa Claus from all of that, the kids don't really care. They don't really care.
So
how old is your son?
He's 10.
He's 10.
Mm-hmm.
So when do you foresee telling him the truth about Santa?
Whenever he stops believing. I mean, he's had kids at school that tell him because, you know, he'll say, well, mommy, they said that I'm a baby for believing in Santa. And what I told him is, do you believe in Santa? He said, yeah. I said, then there's nothing wrong with that. But I will tell you that it does irritate me that there are parents, and I know you're one of them, who, I don't care if my kid tells your kid. But, you know, I think it's rude. Because my thing is, when I found out, this is what my mom told me. My mom told me, yeah, you know, but don't ruin it for somebody else. Why ruin their fun? That's what my mother told me. She told me to consider somebody else. So that's what I did. When I found out that he wasn't real, I didn't run around telling everybody. Because again, like she said, why ruin it for somebody else? If that's what they want to believe, that's what they want to believe. And who is it hurting? And to me, it's just rude for somebody else's kid to tell my kid because your parent doesn't want to do it. Because your parent doesn't want to do it. Why are you going to ruin it for mine?
Wait a minute.
I'm not asking you to do anything.
Wait a minute. See, now I got a problem with that. So let me get this straight. You find it rude that kids tell your kid the truth because you haven't told them the truth.
Yes, I do. Because you're not.
That don't make no sense.
Because you're not doing it as I'm telling them the truth. You're doing it because you don't do it in your household. So because you don't do it in your household, you want to ruin the fun in mine. It's not about spreading the truth. It's about saying, ha, this is what we do in my house. So I don't think you should do it in yours. That's what it's about.
Well, no, it's also about the truth. Like the truth is that there is no Santa Claus. So if your kid goes to school and interacts with a kid whose parent told them the truth that there is no Santa Claus, how can you get mad at that?
Why do you get to tell my kid what goes on in my house? Is that your place?
Well, it's just like saying, it's just like this. It's just like, let's say just for fun, in your house, y'all believe that the world is flat. And then your kid goes to school.
That's totally different.
It's not totally different. It's actually, I think it's a pretty good analogy. So when let's say hypothetically in your house, y'all tell y'all kids that the world is flat. Then your kid goes to school and kids tell them like, no, the world is round, and you get mad at those kids for telling your kid the truth. That don't make no sense.
No, I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that at all.
Well, if you wouldn't be mad at that, Donita.
I would say, honey, let's go look in your science book. Let's go look in your social studies book because it's going to tell you that the world is round. So no, I wouldn't be mad.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. If you wouldn't be mad about that because it's a fact, then why would you be mad about Santa? Because the fact is that there is no Santa. It's all made up.
Because you're comparing apples to oranges.
No, I'm not.
You're comparing science to the fantasy of Santa Claus. So no, you asked me would I be mad, and I answered you.
Wait.
I wouldn't care.
Donita, how it's not apples and oranges. The
But I think
world
it is.
is round,
But
and
that's just the difference
Santa.
of our opinion, though, right?
No, it's not my opinion. The world is round, correct, and
Right?
Santa is not real, correct. So it's science.
Are you there?
It's fact. Yeah, I'm here. Are you there?
Yeah. Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay, so to me, it's not apples and oranges. It's oranges and oranges. The world is not flat; it is round, and Santa does not exist. It's a made-up story.
In your house?
No, around the world, in the universe.
No, in your house.
No, in the
my house,
universe.
in my house, he exists.
In your house, he exists.
Mhm.
Okay, so let me ask you a straight-up question, and I'm just asking you just because of where we are in the conversation. Is Santa Claus real? Yes or no?
Yes.
And that's what the problem is. And that's what the problem is. Because the correct answer is no. He's not real.
He's not real anymore.
Right. I mean, this is like some of these Trumpsters that want to believe that Trump actually won the election because that's what they want to believe. He lost the election.
That's not true.
It is true. He lost the
You're
election.
comparing apples to oranges.
No, I'm not. I'm
We're
comparing
on another
fantasies to fantasies.
No.
Yes.
No. Well,
Yes.
I don't agree with you. Like I said,
you don't have to agree with me.
And you don't have to agree with me.
Because the world agrees with me. Santa does not exist. That is scientifically proven. That it's all a fact. It's all made up.
Okay, right. When my son believes that it's not, then I'm cool with that.
So until somebody else convinces your son that something that is not true and he accepts it, you're going to go along with this.
It's not about somebody else convincing him until he decides that it doesn't. Because kids have already tried to convince him. They've already tried that. And he decided for him that he wants to believe in it. And that's fine.
So if your son decided that he wanted to believe that the world is flat, you're okay with that?
No, I'm not, because that's science. That's totally different. No, I'm not. I would tell him, let's go look at your science book. Let's go look at your social studies book. And I show him.
Danita, I love you. But that don't make no sense.
In your head, and that's fine.
No, in anybody's head, Danita, it don't make sense.
No, there are plenty of people who allow their children to do make-believe. There are plenty of people. There are plenty of people who will allow their children the innocence of believing in Santa Claus. You don't agree with that, and that's cool. I would never try to convince Buddha or Junior that Santa is real.
Because you know he's not real.
I wouldn't even try.
Because you know he's not real.
Wait a minute, let me finish. But I would appreciate it if Buddha and Junior didn't try to convince Trey that he wasn't real. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't at all.
Why not?
Because Santa's not real.
For you guys, that's fine.
No,
and again,
for the world.
I would never try to take that away from your kids. So why do you want to take it away from mine? Why do you want to take away his imagination? Because that's all it is. It's imagination. Why is it up to you to take that away from him?
It's not up to me. It's up to the world to tell people the truth with facts and reason and logic.
Again, why would you encourage your kids to do it? Leave it alone.
No, I don't encourage my kids to do it. But what struck me as odd is when you said that you would be frustrated because somebody told your kid the truth. You know, there's some muscles that I think should be exercised. The self-delusion muscle, I don't think that muscle should be exercised. This sounds like self-delusion to me, but it is what it is.
I guess.
Thank you for the call. Now, you know I'm about to talk about you, right?
That's cool.
Okay. I appreciate you, Danita.
All right.
Yep, most def. Let's go through this. The world is not flat. The world, say it with me now. You don't have to say it with me. The world is not flat. I don't care what you want to believe. Donald Trump lost the election. I don't care what you want to believe. He lost the election. And Santa Claus is not real. I don't care what you want to believe. There's no magical person out there. You believe in reindeers and flying sleigh too? There's no magical entity named Santa that's dropping off gifts at your house. Say it with me, y'all. Water is wet. This is real basic. But let's go back to the phones. Appreciate the call. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, it's Buckeye Alicia. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Buckeye Alicia? Good morning.
I never call in, but I decided to take my break early because this was just too juicy a debate. There is no Santa Claus. And if there was, I would have got with him long ago. So there is none. But with my son, we've never raised our children to believe in Santa Claus. Never. They always knew that their parents did that. When my son was in second grade, they were doing some type of sharing and talking, and he announced to the class, not just to one person, but to the entire second grade class, that there was no such thing as Santa Claus. That was just for fun, and that their parents and grandparents bought the gifts. So when the teacher went to lunch that day, she called me, and she told me what my son had said, and she said, would it be okay when the parents call me to have them call you? I said, that's fine, because I know that put her on the spot. But I stood by what he said, and actually no one called me.
Oh, that's the
and
teacher.
So,
the teacher is
Santa
hilarious.
Is not real. An adult ruining that for children, I don't necessarily agree with, but children talk about everything. They talk about what's going on in their home and what their parents say.
Absolutely. Now, number one, the teacher is hilarious.
You're not going to be able to stop your child. Whatever's going on in your home, they're going to tell it. Whatever you're telling them, they're going to tell it to somebody, especially when they're young. They keep it real.
They sure do. They sure do.
All right. You have a great day, Nathan.
You too. That's Buckeye Alicia. That's hilarious. The teacher is funny in that story. The teacher was like, when they call me, I'm going to tell them to call you. The teacher gets an A plus on that one. Like, I'm going to step to the side, let you handle this work. I ain't taking your heat. That's hilarious. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, I would never do that as a parent. Like, if kids are watching this now, it's collateral damage. It is what it is. But for a child, you don't get upset because a child tells another child the truth? That's what kids do. That's called social interaction. It's called social interaction. They're going to get it. They're going to hear everything. Like I said, I want my son to exercise all of his muscles. His heart muscle, his quadriceps. And he loves to walk with his daddy, and he'll run ahead of me and run up the hills and stuff. I love it because I want him to exercise his muscles. The self-delusion muscle? Nah, we ain't going to exercise that one. We're going to deal with the real. And for all those parents out there, I mean, don't look at me as like some harbinger of gloom and doom trying to take your fun. No, actually, I'm here to liberate. I'm here to liberate you because you might have invested in this fantasy and this lie. She had the nerve to bring in Black Panther. Shame on you, Tracy. Shame on you. Y'all kids believe in Black Panther? No, we don't. They know it's a comic. They know that Chadwick Boseman was an actor. Simple as that. But I'm here to liberate you because I'm here to tell you that your kids are going to have just as much fun. It don't stop the fun. I remember being a kid. When I found out, I was like, wait a minute, Santa Claus? This don't even make no sense. Because what happens is kids will start setting traps for Santa, like acting like they sleep. Yeah, we just go sleep in the living room the entire week leading up to Christmas just to see. You know, we just want to camp out in the living room. Really, they setting traps for Santa. We did that with moms. Chairman Moms, he never showed up because he's not real. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. This is Carmelita. I posted this actually on the Facebook page, but I know everybody doesn't do it, doesn't follow on there. I was about 5 or 6, and I walked in on Christmas morning, and I looked at this big pile of stuff, and I said, "Oh, Santa Claus brought me this." And I looked at the other pile of stuff and said, "Oh, my papa bought me that." And then I looked at my mother and said, "Well, what did you buy me?" I was probably 4 or 5. And she looked at me and promptly responded, "I am Santa Claus." The hell? I mean, quit lying to these kids. Because then you get a smart child that's like, wait a minute, hold up, I got questions. Just quit lying to them.
You press
I
mom's
agree
buttons.
100%.
You there, Carmelita?
Yes.
Yeah, you press mom's buttons. She had to let you know, like, wait a minute, you ain't leaving me out of this equation. I work hard for this.
Right. She said, I bought everything in here. What are you talking about?
That's hilarious. Thank you for that story.
Lying to these kids. Quit giving these kids all these false illusions of what the world really is, and then maybe it'll be better when they grow up because they won't expect.
That's kind of how I look at it. This world is no game. This ain't no joke. So I ain't
no joke. You got to prepare these kids for the real world. The number one job as a parent is to prepare your child to be a functioning adult. And if they growing up with lies, where does that leave them as an adult?
Exactly. You feel me? We see eye to eye on this. Exactly. Yep. Thank you for that post as well.
That was my first time calling. Thank you very much. Have a good day, sir.
Oh yeah, most deaf. That's Carmelita. I've just become familiar with her just being in the chop shop here. Appreciate her. Hold on, I need to make sure that that TT Stearns Enzi has what he needs to get into the show this morning. Give me 1 second. I appreciate that. What is that? Okay, well, I may have to do it this way. Hold on, I'll do it another way. Give me 1 second, because we only got 9 minutes, and I want to make sure that my guest is able to get into the show. So I want to send him a direct message real quick. Appreciate you. So that he can zoom into the show. There it is. Cool. So there it is. Hold on. Let me send a message to him so he can get in. Yeah, I appreciate the calls. Again, do you at the end of the day. But all that self-delusion stuff, nah, this world is too crazy. And like I told you, I'm here to liberate you. There are some parents that have invested in the Santa Claus lie, and you think you can't get out of it. You can. Just tell them. So for me, the other thing is we teach our kids not to lie to us. I don't want to lie to my children. There are no about anything. I keep it real with them. And if it's something I don't want to tell you, then I just don't tell you. Like I've told my daughter, like, you really want to have this conversation? She'll look at me like, oh boy, he about to go too far again. Right? She'll look like that. You sure you want to know the truth? Because I'm going to give it to you graphic. I'm not going to sugarcoat it because I might die tomorrow. I want to leave my kids in the best place possible. But let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Yo, good morning, Nate. What's going on?
I'm doing great, brother. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, man, this is Billy. Billy Thomas.
Billy Thomas? Hey, what's up, Billy? Good morning.
Yeah. Hey. Calling, man, specifically, what we do in our home is our thing, and everybody's not going to do that. So I'm cool with that. But on your chat, Mr. Curtis Gillum has this little something he wants to say about she must not have a husband. Well, there is a man in her house. That's me, bro. I don't play those games. Don't come at mine. Not like that. You crossing the line. You got men things, let men deal with that. She has a husband in her life. Can holler at you anytime.
All right, husband. You Danita's husband. Okay, I get it. I didn't see the comment. All right. Hey, I ain't mad at you. Man has to protect his wife if you feel like so. Go right ahead, brother. Good to hear from you.
I mean, just hey, you already know. I mean, I'm here, bro. Woo. I just don't play when it comes to the wife,
I feel you 100%. Most deaf.
So no disrespect to your show, bruh. None at all. So, I keep listening, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, I don't take it that way. Appreciate it. I don't take it that way at all. Most deaf. Speak your piece. You definitely can. Now, I would say we just talking, but I also think we also want to show respect at all times. And that goes all the way around. Most definitely. 513-873-7134. But I stand by what I said, though. I mean, adults with all that Santa Claus is sus to me. Self-delusion, we ain't doing that. Not in my household. Do you? And again, I would say this is conversation. This is conversation. Whenever you put yourself out there and you call into a show, I tell people, man, I've heard it all. I personally have heard it all. I've heard it all. People have come at me in all ways. May writes, man, leave his wife the F alone. Yeah. This is conversation piece, man. It's not here to be divisive or to turn into something nasty. I'm not about that. You see how I handle it myself. We agree, disagree, move on. Simple as that. Let me see here. Sasha, I think I read that. That's from Pam. Mason Muller writes, good morning. Terrence Graxton. What's up, brother Terrence? He writes, good morning, everyone. Looking at, are we going to see you out in that political scene again? I'm waiting to see it, bro. People want to see it. Tracy writes, I had no problems with Santa Claus and won't be shamed for it. Fight me. Okay. Cassandra writes, I have no beef with Santa because I think it's essential to developing imagination, but at some point you also gently guide kids to reality. Sister Iris writes, good morning, great people. I'm inside the chop shop. Pat writes, good morning. Hold on one second here. I want to make sure that that my guest has the link this morning. We're scheduled to get a phone call in about 4 minutes. Drop writes, good morning, choppers. You miss me? What's in your wallet? Sleepy Joe Biden is inheriting an Obama economy. He just nonstop with it, huh? All right. Ray writes, I'll ask again, what's the difference between Rahm Emanuel and Pete Buttigieg? Well, some people would say that's a very good question. That's a fair question, by the way. Some people would say that Rahm Emanuel should not have a cabinet position. I've heard this because he withheld information about I don't remember the brother's name, but I saw the tragic video where he was shot on the freeway up there. And basically Rahm Emanuel lied about the video and when he could release the video and then released it when he wanted to. So people are saying he should not be in Biden's cabinet. But remember Pete Buttigieg, he was under fire because he was the mayor of a city in Indiana and his relationship with the black community was not good. They had a series of incidences, I believe a shooting as well. And the way he dealt with it was called into question from the black community's perspective. As you can tell, I'm speaking generally because I can't remember all of the details, but that's a very fair question. It's a very fair question. But let's go back to the phones real quick. Hey, brother Drop, man, I got a good 2 minutes for you. Then I got a guest coming in. And I want to make sure that they
I know,
get on.
Mr. Ivey. Oh, I know. I already know I'm against the clock. So this is going to be real quick. And it's not politics. Good morning, everybody. Mr. Ivey, since you don't believe in Christmas, does that mean you don't do decorations, you don't do Christmas music, you don't do Christmas cooking, you don't wrap your presents, you don't get up on Christmas morning and call your relatives and wish them Merry Christmas? I mean, how can you not believe in Christmas and still do all those things?
Well, you've never heard me say I didn't believe in Christmas or I didn't participate in some of these rituals. You've heard me talk about Santa Claus.
Is Christmas. Christmas is Santa Claus. It's
not
the same thing.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Okay,
from a Christian standpoint,
I'm gonna hang up because I know you got to get.
Yeah, appreciate the call. Thank you so much. No, it's not. Negative. No. I'm going to hit you with the JaVale McGee and block that shot. No, it's not. Sorry. All right, let me go straight to the phones. And again, I'm testing this out to my Spreaker people. Listen, I am never going to stop doing that feed. I have no plans on it. And believe me, I am working on my end to try to figure out some of the technical difficulties. What has been happening is when we do Zoom calls or I play videos, you're not hearing it. I am aware of it. I'm willing to do whatever I got to do. I'm looking into upgrading some of my equipment here. That's how important you are to me. I want to make sure you understand that. I also have to move the show and use the technology that's available. So I'm about to bring TT Stearns Enzi on. He's backstage right now. If you cannot hear it, I would invite you, if you can, to jump over to the live video stream And then after the show, I'll circle back around and make sure we put this in the audio in its proper place so it sounds seamless, okay? But if you have issues, if you can, open invitation, jump over to the video live stream. And then, after the conversation, we'll come back. But I'm also testing this as well, all right? So having said that, I want to welcome in my guest, TT Stearns Enzi. Hey, what's up, TT? Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right. Oh, yeah, we're here. This is live.
This is live, man. Look at how technology has changed. We went from doing it in studio together. Remember those years?
Oh, yeah.
Now here we live streaming from our respective. Well, I'm at home. It looks like you might be somewhere.
I'm at home.
You're at home too, so.
In my bedroom. This is my workspace.
Your bedroom, your workplace. Okay. I appreciate it. Now, listen, TT, I'm very familiar with you. I think there's elements of the audience, but the audience has expanded. So just kind of tell people your bio, who you are and what you do.
All right. Well, I am the film critic the contributing film editor for Cincinnati City Beat, although I'm furloughed right now. But I'm also doing morning reviews on Fox 19, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. I'm a member of the Critics' Choice Association. I'm an accredited critic with Rotten Tomatoes. And on top of all that, I'm also the film program and artistic director for the Over the Rhine International Film Festival. So as you can see, my whole life, at least for the last 20 years, is kind of revolved around film and covering film, talking about film, exhibiting film, doing film series for people and around the city. So yeah, film is my life. That's it. I'm here to talk about it with you now.
Yeah, and I love it, man. I give me somebody with passion any day. And then, every once in a while, I'll talk about, how we met each other, youth development, man. Again, I got a lot of respect for you. And I've seen the consistency over the years and your commitment with the youth. And I just want to make sure people understand who you are and what you all about. You are about films, but you also are about our youth and have committed your life, your time, your energy into trying to be a positive influence. I have seen it with my own eyes. I don't talk about what I think. I've seen it with my own eyes. I respect it because our youth need good brothers like yourself out there sharing their talents and just trying to enrich their lives. So I appreciate that about you, man. And then I love the fact that you love the movies, man. So this in film in general, and everybody's shut in now. So now these digital entities like Hulu and Disney Plus are doing all these great things. So this hopefully will be the kicking off a regular conversation where you talk about what you're watching and what's next. So that's what we're here to do this morning.
All right. Well, good. Because yes. And again, thank you for all those kind words that you said. I mean, again, you talk about the time that I spent working with students in the community. That's been a big part of my life too. And again, the reason why it's such a big part of my life is, again, film was always there for me, whether as a young kid, my mother would take me to the movies. I eventually moved from us going to the movies as a family to, hanging out with friends who were interested in film. We would go work in the neighborhood, make enough money so that we could go spend a whole day at the movie theater, watching as many movies as we could, getting all the treats we could get, kind of having those experiences. But really and truly, I was in school when someone gave me the chance to talk about a movie in a classroom. And it was because that person did that for me that set me on the path to doing what I do for a living now. So I feel that in some ways I owe that to go into the classrooms too, especially now because the world is, education is completely different than it used to be. A teacher could take the opportunity to say, okay, well, yeah, for 15 minutes, we'll leave the curriculum behind for a little bit and we'll talk about this other thing. Classrooms aren't set up that way necessarily today. So if there is an opportunity to have someone like me come in to share my passion and to kind of see if there's a way to connect it with what the curriculum is sort of saying and what needs to be taught, I'm all for that. Because again, if I reach at least one person, then I'm serving the person who reached me and got me interested in this in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I respect it, man. Like I said, I've seen it firsthand. So what have you been watching, man? What's new? What's on your radar screen? What would you recommend to people out there that are shut in with COVID? They're looking for something that's going to entertain them, maybe infotainment. But what's on your radar screen? What are you watching?
I love the fact that you just mentioned the whole infotainment bit, because right now there is so much out there. And again, you mentioned all of the streaming services that are available to us, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Apple TV. It's all there. everybody's got a streaming service. Everybody's trying to put out new and different kinds of content. A lot of us assume that once quarantine started that, okay, movie theaters going to close. That's going to change the industry. It's going to shut down movies. It actually hasn't. I've been doing this daily segment now on Fox 19 since about 2 weeks into quarantine. So pretty much almost, I'd say, from the end of March through now, I've been going on every morning talking about new releases, new films that are going straight to video on demand, some that are playing in theaters. Now, of course, with Christmas coming up, we're going to have kind of the first series of films that'll come out that'll be in theaters where theaters are available, but will be streaming directly, like with Wonder Woman 1984. People will be able to watch that on HBO Max, which is their streaming service. So there is a ton of stuff out there, and there's some really good things. But again, I wanted to talk today about a series that's on Amazon Prime under the heading of Small Acts. It's a 5-part kind of film hybrid series that has been produced and directed by Steve McQueen, who was the director of 12 Years a Slave, which was an amazing film from, I can't even remember now, it's probably about 6 or 7 years ago. Looked at slavery and racism and the ideas of what was going on here in this country. People had issues with it because he's a black man from Britain coming in and telling an American story, but he told that story in ways that we hadn't seen before, which made it important and it made it impactful. That was an amazing film, but what he's done with Small Acts is stepping the game up even more. He's taken these 5 stories that are looking at the Black British experience. And again, it's set within a particular time frame from basically 1969 to the early 80s, 82, 83, somewhere around there. 5 stories. They are not connected in any traditional kind of sense, but it is just about what it was like to be a Black person, and especially a Black person potentially from, who with Caribbean roots, came to a new country, tried to figure out where they fit into that country, and more importantly, found themselves ostracized, persecuted, beat down in a lot of ways, but still never giving up on the idea that they wanted to be a part of that nation and a part of that community. And they wanted to make sure that they brought their own cultural history and background to this new place. So you get these stories that look at everything from civil and social protests to education to police community relations. I mean, it covers the whole gamut. There's actually even one, Lover's Rock, which was the second one in the series that came out, that's focused specifically on Black love at that time and Black love in a community and a Black party. There's no narrative to that particular story, but it's just all about this vibe. And again, the series is unheard of in the sense that, again, McQueen basically made 5 feature-length films and released them all in 1 year. What he did with Amazon Prime, they set it up so that he could release those films one a week every Friday. This Friday is going to be the release of the final film. So if you go to Amazon Prime on Friday, all 5 of the films will be available. The titles, the first one was Mangrove, then Lover's Rock, Red, White, and Blue, Alex Weddle, and it ends with Education. And again, I cannot speak highly enough about these films. There are some that you will see some notable, recognizable kinds of actors and performers in there. John Boyega is in Red, White, and Blue. Letitia Wright from Black Panther, she's in Mangrove. But even if you don't recognize anyone in the stories, we need to watch this particular series, because what he did and what he talked about at the time that he was releasing this, actually virtually at film festivals in the fall, was talking about the idea these stories were important to him to release right now, because he was looking at what was going on in this country during the summer with the social protests and everything that we had going on here. And he wanted to make sure that people understood and recognized that the experiences that we were dealing with here, trying to fight police brutality and trying to make sure that we were seen as people and human beings and an equal part of the society here, he was basically saying that was going on all over the world. And he was giving us an example of what was going on in Britain for Black folks during, like I said, that late 60s to early 80s period. And that time frame is interesting to look at because we're thinking that mirrors our time frame here. But his point is the stuff that was going on in the 60s, both here and there, is the same sort of things that we were dealing with this summer. So it has not ended. It has not changed. How we are dealing with it and addressing it has changed. And he's kind of saying we need to make sure that everybody around the world, all Black communities throughout the globe, need to look at and recognize and probably find ways to tell our own stories in all those other places around the world, because we would see the similarities and we would come to appreciate it. So again, like I said, I can't speak highly enough for the series. That's real edutainment right there. And it's at this stage now, it's not considered a feature film. So they will not be eligible for Oscar consideration, but I'm sure it's going to be on the, tons of Emmy lists and all that kind of stuff. And to be quite honest, when I do my top 10 list for film, I'm already including a spot for Mangrove, because Mangrove to me was the best of these films. And it's a top 10 film for me. It's actually not even a top 10. It's a top 5, top 3 kind of film for me. It to be quite honest, I may get to the end of the year and it may be my best film of the year.
Wow. So what's the name of the series again? And you say it's on Amazon Prime?
It is on Amazon Prime. Like I said, the series goes under the heading Small Axe, and an axe is AXE. But each of these has its own title, its own focus. And Mangrove, interestingly enough, like I said, it's a social protest story that's rooted in a situation of a court case. It's a true story of a community in Britain that had to deal with police brutality, and it kind of blossomed into what turned out to be a court case that in some ways came to mirror the court case that we had here with the trial of Chicago 7, which of course was also a Netflix film brought out by Aaron Sorkin. The idea of watching those two together would be a fascinating history lesson, and also a fascinating lesson in terms of storytelling from filmmakers. Because Sorkin, we know him from The West Wing and the language that he plays with and how he's able to kind of tell a story and have characters kind of dance with language and tell these fascinating kinds of stories. So you get his story with the trial of Chicago 7 on one hand, but then you've got what Steve McQueen does on the other. It's still a court case. It's looking at police brutality and racism in the system, but he makes it a lot more personal. That it's not necessarily about the big speeches and the language and the rat-a-tat-tat kind of thing that happens in the courtroom. He makes it about real people and real experiences and the hurt and the frustration and the desire to fight, even when you don't think that you have a chance of winning, but you know you need to fight and you have to fight. There are Black Panthers, there's a Black Panther presence in actually both films in terms of the actual Black Panthers from the 60s, which was, again, one of those things that I had no idea that there was a Black Panther movement and community in Britain during that time, but there was, which means that there were probably Black Panther movements and communities in other parts of the world that we don't know about, which again is one of the important things about this. We need to make sure that we find ways to tell all of those stories so that we know that history, we know that we're connected to other struggles throughout the globe.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I definitely will check that out. I definitely check it out. Well, let me ask you this. So that's right up my alley. I'm down for that. And I have different moods. Sometimes I'm in the mood for something, some infotainment, more on the info. And sometimes I'm in the mood for more entertainment. What's on your radar screen, your radar screen that you would suggest for people that are looking to maybe disengage?
Yeah. Well, yes, this is definitely a time when the ability to be able to disengage and to kind of take a step back from everything that we've got going on in the world is incredibly important. It's weird for me to kind of think through some of this, because I feel like even the stuff that I do and that I'm watching to kind of disengage has some of those elements, some of those other elements in the real world kind of stuff and mixed in as well. My wife and I kind of struggle to find things that we can watch together. One of the things that we are currently watching that has been kind of a revelation for us, it's an older series. It's still current because it's still on air and still streaming, but we finally got around to watching This Is Us. And I love the idea of just watching a show. And again, I'm not usually a network television kind of guy, because generally speaking, I don't have the time to watch a lot of network TV, because again, I'm focusing more on movies with the coverage that I do and the work that I have to do as part of Critics' Choice and everything else. So I don't get the time to settle into TV as much. But quarantine has given me that chance to, since I'm at home and I'm not going out and I'm not running around doing a whole bunch of other stuff, I've had the chance to sit down and watch some things that either that came on and had ended, or that are still on. That I was kind of like, oh yeah, I heard things about that. I heard good things about that. I should check it out. And last year, I went to my first Critics' Choice Association award show. I got to do the live show, hang out with the stars. It was a great moment. Brought my wife. We were there taking pictures with folks, having a good time, meeting people. And I got to meet Sterling K. Brown. And I have a picture with him. It was up on Twitter from last year, because he was in a film called Waves last year, which I was, again, it was one of my top 10 films from last year. But I hadn't seen This Is Us. So when we were looking for something to watch together, I told my wife, I was like, hey, why don't we try This Is Us? We'll see what we think. We saw Sterling K. Brown, so we know we got a connection and an end with the show. And it has given me the chance to kind of settle in and look at a family and the struggles. And it's a great movement through time periods here in the country. There are race issues in there too, because he plays the adopted child of a white family. It looks at their lives in the 80s and 90s up through where we are sort of in a contemporary real world kind of scenario now. But it's been a lot of fun to just sit back. And again, it's a dramatic series, but there's some great light moments. There's some great family dynamics that are part of it. And again, it's nice because it's, like I said, it's not, exactly caught up with real world scenarios yet. So there's not a lot of real world politics. There's not the, COVID-19 stuff in there yet, although that may come and I'm assuming it will. But it's just nice to kind of have a chance to kind of just get away from a lot of what we're seeing, what's going on in the world. And yeah, that picture just came up from last year. That was one of the highlights for me from last year, to be quite honest, having a chance just to meet him and to talk. And we talked a couple of times during the course of that evening at the award show, because he's a great multi-talented actor. He was not only in Waves, he was also in the last season of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which is a streaming series. He was on that. Again, he's in This Is Us. Great performer. He's one of those guys that I really feel like we need to be paying more attention to, because he's doing great work. And I want to see him do more great work. And one of the ways to help that is to promote the stuff that he's doing, and for us to watch and pay attention to what he's doing, because the more we watch him, the more we put the focus and the attention on the industry to say, hey, we got to make sure that guy gets more work, because he's got something, he's special. So again, it's that kind of advocacy that I find to be really important and sort of an integral part of the job that I do as a critic, and especially as a Black critic. So yeah, that's just one of the things that I'm watching now that kind of takes me away from the heavy lifting and the heavy work of looking at film and critiquing film and culture and things that are going on at the moment. What are you watching?
Man, that's a fair question. What am I watching? I feel like I don't get a lot. I've got time, right? Because we're all at home. I'm at home more like more than I was before, like everybody else. I think the last good thing that I watched was that's a good question, TT. I should have been more prepared for that, right? It's an obvious question. I really can't call it, man. I feel like I haven't really watched a whole lot. So like I've been starting movies and not finishing them, and starting series and not finishing them, right? Because I get distracted, or I'm working or doing something else. Let me think about that. I know I should have been more prepared for that, because that's an obvious question, but nothing comes bubbling up like, oh yeah, I want to share. This is something I thought was super, super dope. I think the last thing I thought was dope was The Five Bloods, right? The Spike Lee joint. I really enjoyed that. Delroy Lindo, some great performances in that.
Amazing. Yes. Yes, definitely. And it's funny because I'm sitting here now and I'm kind of thinking through, that was one of those big films for me earlier in the year. As a matter of fact, someone just put up in the chat, they were talking about Lovecraft Country. I got the chance to watch that. And again, it's nice for me during quarantine to be able to watch things kind of outside of my job, even though I'm still covering them occasionally on Fox 19, but it's just more like I get to watch it as everybody else watches it as it comes out. So Lovecraft for me was one of those that I got to watch and kind of almost feel like I was participating in the social media discussion about it as each episode came out, which was fabulous because that's a great series. And again, that's the kind of stuff that, you feel like people need to watch, need to talk about. So social media gives us the opportunity to do that. I was also, and the reason why I asked you what you're watching, I live downtown. I live in Pendleton. So I get to the opportunity to go for walks, for exercise, and to do things. And my wife and I will walk through Pendleton and OTR and kind of the surrounding areas. We get up to Walnut Hills, depending on, how long a walk we might want to take. We've gone over to Kentucky. But the great thing about my gig now, because people see me more and can recognize me in that way more than they did when I was just writing for City Beat. I get people who come up to me on the street and they'll be like, "Hey, movie guy, hey, TT, saw you talking about, X, Y, and Z." And now part of the fun for me is to kind of turn that on people and say, okay, hey, you saw me talk about this movie. What are you watching? What's your favorite film? What show are you watching? And at times what happens is I'm kind of fishing because I'm looking to see if people are watching something that I haven't seen and I need, a little recommendation here or there. And again, if it's a good recommendation and I try it out, then I can get on TV and talk about it and say, hey, I saw so-and-so in this community who mentioned that I should check this out. And I did, and I really liked it. So that's in a way for me to make this a conversation in a way that it has never been before. Because when my first probably 14 or 15 years as a critic, it was just my words in a newspaper on print or online, and people didn't have a face to connect with it. They weren't able to really be involved in an exchange with me. But now, because of television, it is great that there's this opportunity for people to come up and say, hey, I like what you're doing. I appreciate what you're doing. I like that show that you told me about, and here's something that I'm watching. So again, like I said, it's something that I feel is really important to me to make sure that, if I can keep that conversation going and get people talking about things or get people checking out stuff that they might not ordinarily have gone to see on their own, or because now we're at home, you might not have gone to the movies to see a particular film, but because it's streaming on your television or on your computer, you feel that you have greater access to it. You feel more connected to it in that way than you would have if you had to go out to a theater to see it. This is an important time, and I don't think movies are going to go away, but I do believe that this period has potentially opened us up to these great stories, and the opportunity will exist moving forward for studios and the industry as a whole to kind of figure out how do we keep this connection going? How do we make sure that people are still going to go back to theaters when it's safe to do so and to congregate and have that experience with a story? But we also want to make sure that people are still checking this stuff out in their homes, and can have the opportunity to talk about it and share. I think all of that is incredibly important, and it opens things up in ways that we never would have imagined 9 months ago.
Yeah, the world has changed, man. The streaming wars are here. People are unplugging from cable and now plugging in to Hulu and Magellan and Netflix and Disney Plus, and they seem to all have great content. Some of them have exclusive series, but they all seem to have good content. So, for the world of entertainment or infotainment, films, miniseries, it's never been more vibrant than it is right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I love it. Obviously, I'm not watching everything, but I love it. I love the idea that I can just binge watch, right? And just watch the whole series. Did you watch The Boys on Amazon Prime?
I did finally get around to The Boys. I didn't watch the first season when it came out, but I caught it in preparation for the second, and then I just binge watched the second season. I am a huge fan of The Boys. And again, yeah, I feel as part of the change and the evolution of this process, I think that there are certain ways that, again, you go from, okay, yeah, you just have a film, you can release a film in theaters and you can release it on video on demand or through a streaming service. You have a series that, again, when it was network television, you only got it once a week. You had to wait for it. You built up the anticipation. Now we have binging where we get shows all at once. So you get all 8-10 episodes of a thing and you just down and watch it on a weekend if you want to or whatever. But the great thing about it now, I feel like there are certain streaming services that have already started to recognize that there's kind of a hybrid way of doing it. You know, you can give people, if it's a 10 episode series, you can give them the first 3, but then then kind of piecemeal it out after that so that you get people hooked quickly enough, but then you kind of string them along. There are ways that we can play with the system and play with engagement that, it can be helpful and healthy for the industry moving forward. And again, people are starting to think about this stuff. I just hope there's more thought and more consideration and more ways to make sure that everyone has access to it. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, if you have to make a choice, and again, I'm fortunate enough as a critic that I don't necessarily have to make this choice. Like, I get certain streaming services for free because they give access to critics for this kind of stuff, or I'll get the chance to see something I may not need to use this streaming service at all. But if I were a paying customer out there in the world and had to figure out, I got X number of dollars that I can devote to this, how do I figure out, do I pay for Netflix or, Hulu, or am I going to go with just Disney Plus and Apple TV or some combination of all of these things? How do I do it? How do I make the best choice that I can make to have the greatest access to all the stuff that I want to see? That's going to be the next challenge. And again, people are going to be excluded from that, whether it's because of, again, not having the immediate resources for it, not having the time to kind of figure all that out, or whatever it is, that those are the next kinds of hurdles that we're going to have to try to figure out how to overcome. But I think we can figure it out. I think we're smart enough. I think the industry's there. I think, internet access and ways that we can make sure that everybody has that access that they need will make sure that, again, more people will be able to kind of plug in to all of these great narratives that are out there and to see this whole world that they've never really seen and experienced in this particular way.
One last question. I'll let you go. I know you're a very busy man. It's interesting. I think going back a few years, you and I may have talked about it, and that is we were seeing the end of the drive-thrus. But now with COVID, it's interesting. We're seeing the end, perhaps, of movie theaters, right? People going to the movie theater. But now there's a revival in drive-thrus because that's safer. Right. So what do you think about the movie going industry, like going to the movie theater? Are we witnessing the end of it, or do you predict a bounce back once the vaccine gets out there and maybe people feel safe again?
I think there will be a bounce back. Again, I have always said, and I will continue to say, I am all about that theatrical experience. When I've written about going to film festivals, whether it's on my blog or for City Beat, I talk about it as being part of almost a congregation, if you will. You get hundreds of people in a space, all sharing the same experience, all having that connection and vibing off of it together. I think that's a very important thing that cannot and should not go away. I love the idea that, yes, because of, again, computers and smart TVs and all this stuff, we can all have individual access to the things that we want to see. That's changing. It's not going to erase the theatrical experience. And you're right, the drive-in experience is kind of popped back up. And one of the ways that it's become important to me in the way that I'm working now is as a festival programmer. I have had to look at this year in particular. The Over the Rhine International Film Festival, we weren't necessarily planning on doing an in-person festival event this year anyway. We were always technically thinking of taking 2020 off and we were going to move to early 2021. Our initial plan was to do a festival in February of 2021. We got up through about halfway through the year. We realized that, we may not be ready with vaccines and everything else to be able to do an in-person event. So we first moved our festival to July. So we are now looking at July 8th through 11th of 2021 in the hopes that, again, we will be able to do as much of an in-person event as possible. But what we've learned and had to figure out along the way is we said, okay, well, hey, all these other festivals out there that were going to do events in 2020, let's watch and see what they're doing. Let's see, how are they pivoting? How are they figuring it out? Are they going straight to virtual events? Is a virtual event the best thing for us? We weren't sure. All of a sudden, people started doing the drive-ins, and we were kind of like, okay, if the drive-in comes back, that's a way for people to get together in groups in a healthy and safe way, still be able to see a film, still be able to share that experience together. Can we do that? So what we did and what we have done over the course of this 9 months, we've done streaming events. We had, we used Netflix Party and had, streaming events for people where we could show a film and people could use the chat to kind of comment and talk about what they were seeing. We've done drive-ins in different locations around the city. We went up to College Hill, to the Hollywood. We did some events over in Northern Kentucky in a parking, the old IRS parking lot. We were able to, set things up there. So we've learned that if we need to next year, we can do some drive-in events as part of our film festival. We could potentially do some virtual events. But again, at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we have ways for people to come together and to have that theatrical experience together in a space. So I think from, like I said, the festival perspective, but also just as a whole, as how the industry is looking at this, there is still going to be a very vital need for people to come together to share these experiences. That's not going to go away. But it is going to change. And we have to recognize and accept those changes. And unfortunately, what we will also have to do is probably a bit of mourning, because we're going to lose some sites. We're going to lose some places. I struggle with that as I look at, theaters around the country and hear their stories of, the struggles that they're having right now, not being able to keep the doors open, not being able to pay staff, or, knowing that they're going to have to close. And there hasn't been a lot of support for them, whether it's movie theaters or live theater. Everybody needs to come together. We are doing everything that we can to support bars and restaurants and, other industries that are struggling during this time too. I think the arts as a whole is one of those industries that never gets that kind of attention, that struggles just as much as everybody else, every other industry during this time. We need to make sure that we're thinking about that and we find ways to support all of these industries, because again, from my standpoint, film is a cultural provider in a way. It is a way of sharing our stories, continuing to share our stories and our history. And we have to find ways to support the people that are making those pieces of art. And we also need to find ways to support, the systems that are in place to distribute that particular art form as well. And again, like I said, I feel like we're falling down on the job a little bit on that side. But we need to, it's never too late. It's never going to be too late. We just need to figure it out and start making some real efforts and plans to figure out what we can do to support all this. And again, I think the revival of the drive-in is an example of something that we've learned and we've figured out that we can do that can help. So we just need to figure out, the other ways that are out there that we can do that stuff and keep it going and keep it alive.
Well, TT, you know me, man. I'm one of your biggest fans. I appreciate the conversation. This revival of our conversations, I'm 100% for it and looking forward to this ongoing conversation. You know what? I think you would be great at a podcast. I think you'd be great at a podcast.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. But listen, man, looking forward to it. Where can people find you online, your website, social media?
All right. Well, I tell everybody this, that, I'm opening myself up now to the reality. I've gone by TT Stern Enzi for so long. My blog, where I archive all of the stuff I've done either in the past with on print or now with television and video and radio clips, whatever else, is terrencetodd.com, TerrenceTodd. That's my first and my middle name. It took me almost 15 years to get back to actually thinking about and using my real name versus this TT. But I felt like the archive and the blog was the perfect way to do that. So you can get all of the content that I have produced over the years there. I'm not on social media a whole lot, but I am on Twitter, and it's at TT Stern NZ. No hyphen in there, all lowercase. I don't tweet a lot, but I retweet a lot of stuff about the film industry because I have great colleagues out in the world who were saying great and amazing things about things they're watching and things that are going on in their communities. And I like to share that information as much as I can. I also keep, I let all of the links that come up anytime I add anything new on the blog. People will find out about it through Twitter. That's the easiest way to kind of keep track of what I'm doing and what's going on in the world for me. And if you follow me, I'll do the best I can to follow you back. Because again, it gives me a chance to kind of, check in and see what other people are doing in their worlds. If you've got something that you want to share and you want to get out there to a few extra people that, hey, I'm probably your guy. I will retweet as much as I can if I feel it's going to be a meaningful piece of information that needs to get out there to the world. I'm all about that.
Well, listen, I appreciate your time this morning, TT. Looking forward to our conversations, and we'll catch up real soon.
All right. Sounds good.
Yep. Most def. That's TT Stern NZ, everybody. Like I told you, give me somebody with passion. I love it. And we share a fondness. And what I like about TT is he watches it all. He'll watch the Marvel stuff and then be watching the foreign films you never heard of with equal passion. And that's rare to me. So I love it. And now he's further entrenched in the Cincinnati film industry, which I'm sure we'll talk about in the near future as well. So looking forward to that conversations in the near future. And then perhaps we can open up if you have questions, give them some time to prepare for it. And so you can get the best answer in the near future as well. So I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody. And that's a lot of fun. I love talking with that brother. And I remember, he was the first. Matter of fact, if I remember correct, we saw Black Panther together, side by side. Yeah, I can't watch movies with everybody because some people want to talk and what they say? Huh? I missed that. No. Act like you know. Don't ask me no questions in the middle of Black Panther. We watched it side by side in the theater together. I am someone who enjoys and has enjoyed theater watching. I have enjoyed and can see, it's a different culture and atmosphere when you're watching it with a crowd of other humans. I enjoyed that. I have enjoyed it over the years. I've seen a lot of movies, and getting that crowd reaction from time to time can make it even better. So yeah, we watched it together. It was super dope. I appreciate it. You gave me the hook up. It was great fun. I got to see Black Panther before it came out. I'll ask him about Black Panther in the near future, I'm sure, and give him some time to, do his due diligence. But he's a fan of that culture as well. All right, 513-873-7134 if you want to share your thoughts. This is the Nathan Ivey Show, powered by CDM, Send Digital Media. And their mission is simple: amplify Black voices. So I appreciate that. Hopefully you got something out of that conversation, and we'll get back with more. Hey, what's up, Jason? Most requested podcast. What's up with you, brother? Good to see you, man. Let me see. Hakeem is mad. He said, you asked for questions. I did put the questions up on the screen, but he had limited time. Let me see. The drive-in events at the Hollywood and College Hills was fun. Oh, yeah, I had great fun. Drive-ins are super fun. Drop got jokes. He writes, Mr. Enzi looks like political pundit Cornell Belcher. That's the brother. I think I know who you're talking about. You're hilarious for that. Good morning to you. Maurice is saying, I continue to put information about this vaccine on my Facebook page and Twitter. Take that vaccine if y'all want to. I'm going to take a wait and see approach. I'm gonna take a wait and see approach, if you don't mind. let's wait and see how everybody else is dealing with it, and then I'll tell you whether I'm gonna take it or not. All right, let's do it that way. 513-873. Had to adjust the camera just a little bit there. 513-873-7134. If you want to share your thoughts this morning, I'm here to receive it. You got me up until 10 a.m., so another 21 plus minutes, and we can chop it up. And I'll circle back around and sort of reiterate what we talked about. But first, this is on my mind, on my heart. I want to make sure I put this out there. So, this is what I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm very good at what I do. I've been doing this for years. And for me personally, I don't mind friction. I don't mind divergent points of view. I seek it out in some cases. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem with people calling in and telling me they disagree and all that. I have no problem with that. My issue is when we get disagreeable and get personal. For me, this is not personal. You're not going to hear me get personal with any of the folks that call in. And then some of these folks have been supporting me for a while. So, when you hear me express expression, that's a genuine emotion. I mean that. I got a lot of respect and love for the folks that hold me down. You know what I'm saying? I'd be a fool not to. So, when we talk about Santa Claus or whatever, you'll hear, again, this is what I do, so I'm good at this, but you'll hear me go super hard on an issue, but I never get personal. I know we got a call from Billy, and Billy is anybody's always open to call in, but I do want to add this. I will say a couple things, that this is the arena of public opinion. And when you step into this arena and you call into shows and you make comments, you open yourself up for other people to make comments. That's the world that we live in. If you feel like there are comments that are disrespectful on a personal level, please bring that to my attention, because I'm willing to do whatever it takes. If I got to delete people, block people, whatever it is, just to make sure that we, are respecting one another. However, I'm nobody's babysitter. I'm not here to hold and stop every adult. We adults, this is the internet. This comes with the territory. So what I would say to Billy and anybody else, if you have a problem with that kind of stuff, then don't call in. Because when you call into a show, and I'm telling you this out of love, when you call into a show, when you put yourself into the public arena, people are going to say all kind of stuff. I heard it all. My skin is pretty skinned. My skin is pretty thick these days. I've heard it all. The other thing is that when you call in like that, depending on who you're dealing with, all you're doing is putting accelerant, gas on the flame. You know what I'm saying? That ain't going to stop nobody from doing and saying what they want to say. In fact, it might even enrage them and encourage them to some degree. I think the right word I want is encourage them to do it even more. So I want to throw that out there for people. You know what I'm saying? I want to create this show as a platform where we can talk about all kinds of things. Okay. And we can disagree vehemently. But what I would hope, and I hope to do this by example, is that we keep it on the issue. Me and Danita, I disagree with her. You know how I feel about it, but personal, that ain't nothing personal. You do what you do. I appreciate her calling in and sharing her opinion. And I want to make sure I say that. And then I want to make sure I say this as well for Billy and anybody else, like your spouse call in, something you care about. That ain't going to stop nobody because you call into a show. That ain't going to stop nobody from saying what they want to say. In fact, it might even encourage them more. So, the door is always open. But when you do that, just know you open yourself up for critiques. Sometimes it's going to be fair and sometimes it's going to be unfair. I was talking with a very talented Black female who is working on a podcast with CDM right now. She was like, well, I listened to your show, watch your show. People be going hard. I ain't trying to do that. I had to be real with them. When you do podcasts, when you put yourself out in front of humans, Black, white, or whoever, you gonna get it. You gonna hear it all. They're gonna go back to your Facebook page. It's the nature of the beast. Now, there's some things you can do to insulate yourself. And I'm always here to suggest that I always protect my people. You already know that. You rock with me, they got to go through me first, period. So that's why I say, if you feel that way, send it my way. I'm not saying I might disagree with you. I've had those disagreements with people in the chop shop. They're like, well, Nate, why aren't you doing nothing? Because I disagree with it. I don't see a necessary issue with it per se. You know what I'm saying? But I have checked people. I have said something to people behind closed doors. I don't want to do anything unless I feel like I need to in a public space. But again, I'm serious about that. I mean, we should be able to go hard on the issues, without trying to make it personal. You know what I'm saying? This is never personal. If you don't get personal with me, I'm not going to get personal with you. Okay? I'm never going to do that with anybody. Especially not the people that hold me down. It's not that serious to me. It's a conversation. I want to challenge us. I might even try to trigger you. Be honest with you. I'm trying to trigger you some days. I want you to get upset. I want to irritate you a little bit, make you think a little bit. Agent provocateur stuff. It's never personal. Never personal. I'm no better than anybody else. I'm going to stick by mine, though. Y'all know that. If I feel a certain way, I'm going to stick by it no matter what. Unless I get available information that changes. But I want to once again say, what my hopes is for the culture that we're creating here. That is my hope. I got no problem with disagreement. I got no problem with emotional disagreement. I got no problem with Nate. You completely da-da-da-da-da-da. But I'm always going to be respectful, ask for the same thing in terms of interacting with me and also with the people that we deal with. At the same time, our sensitivities, this ain't the place for that. If you're the kind of person, and again, I'm not talking about Billy in particular, but that is what's prompting this, because I don't know the brother. As a husband, husbands going to do for what they got to do with their wives. I get it. But what I will say is that the court of public opinion is not a place for sensitive people. Okay? It is not. If you wear your feelings on your sleeve, you're going to be pissed off all the time. You're going to be ready to fight. We ain't fighting about none of this nonsense. We ain't each other's enemy. We got a bigger oppressor that's our real enemy. So let's save all of that for the real oppressor. Here, I have people call up and say all kind of stuff. And then, it got to me in some levels, but if it's real, it's real. And if it's not, it's not. I just keep on moving. But again, if you have those kind of issues, send them my way. I will address them. I'm not telling you I'm going to agree with you. And I'm going to automatically block somebody because you didn't like what they said. But I will look at it. And if I feel like it raises that level and it harms the culture I'm trying to create, it don't matter who it is. They got to go, period. Because I want people to feel, safe. But again, even in that, this is the internet. This is media. This ain't no court of law. This is the court of public opinion. And when you step into this arena, then people are going to criticize you. You heard people call this morning, what about your son? And what people take it there real quick with me. What about your son? But I signed up for this. You know what I'm saying? When I start talking about my kids, I know what that means. I'm opening it up. I talk about the wifey. I know what it means. I'm talking about dating and I'm pro twerking. I already know what that means. Somebody gonna call and say, well, what if your wife was, I've heard it all. Trust me when I tell you that. I've heard it all. But it's just opinions. Everybody got one. So that's the spirit in which I look at it. And I hope that you're in a place that you can look at it that way, because we got our real oppressor out there is the real issue. Not these people in here talking in the chat room. You know what I'm saying? Say that for the Proud Boys, because we might have to posse up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, say that for these white militia cats mad about Trump. That's what we're going to say that for. You know what I'm saying? This is conversation. But again, I've had, and even beyond this, I'm telling you, I've had conversations with people, and it shocks me. Honestly, I'm shocked by it. Like people in this particular medium, if you want to say in this industry, who told me I get DMs and mofos be coming at me crazy. I'm like, well, stop doing the show then. And then nobody will come at you. You don't want to do that. It comes with the territory. It comes with the territory. Buckle up. Get them big boy pants on, them big girl pants on. Get that thick skin, because you're going to need it. And it don't matter who you are and what you've done. It don't matter who you are. I'm telling you, you can be the number one activist in the city. You're going to get it. It's going to be somebody that's going to say something fly and slick to you. You can put your life on the line for our people, and you going to get it. It don't matter. It's just the way the world works. It's the way the internet works. It ain't right. but it's the world we live in. All right, 513-873-7134. If you'd like to share your thoughts this morning. I want to circle back around real quick. And again, I'm sharing that for anybody. If you feel like I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. Because I'm coming from a good place. I'm trying to tell you what to expect. I'm not trying to discourage anybody because I want you to call in. This is a talk show. I love hearing your opinion. But know when you do that people in the chat may have something to say about you. You know what I'm saying? It might go off the road a bit. You think I don't get it? I've heard it all. I've heard it all. And then some. And then I've heard it from the white supremacist. So I heard it all. I get it from all ways. So it is what it is. That's why I say be you. Know who you are. Love you. That's all that matters. But let me circle back around here. I want to talk about the cover for today, just to reiterate it for people that might have missed it. Memo to Twitter. Stop overreacting every time Sasha Obama posts a picture. Black Twitter's at it again, y'all. And I understand these are the Obama girls, but damn, I mean, we got these unrealistic expectations of how they supposed to be acting. Apparently, Sasha, who's the younger daughter of Michelle and Barack, has been getting criticized, and most recently got criticized, this week because she posted some of these racy photographs, in particular the one you see on the right there. I know it's covered up a bit, but she got a little two-piece on. I don't know, looks like she's at a Greek party or something. I don't know. What is she, 19, 20? This is what you do when you're 19 and 20 in a new America. This is what you do. In the digital age, people gonna do this. It is what it is. And people calling this young girl a thought. She's not a thought because she's dressing sexy on the internet. That's what people do. That's what I see it all the time. Hell, I see women in their 40s and 50s doing this on Instagram, trying to get their numbers up. Them tight ass jeans on. You ain't have to bend over like that for the camera, but they doing it. That's what they want to do. You go right ahead. To me, you are not a thought because you post a sexy picture. People on Twitter were calling her Sasha the Stallion. Is that a diss? Hell, she might be like, I like that. She might adopt it. That might be her new hip hop name. I don't know. But please, Memo to Twitter, leave her alone. And leave Mike Vick alone while we at it. So let me go straight back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, Nathan. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, brother. What's your name? Who am I speaking with?
This is Terrence Jackson giving you a call.
Oh, what's up, Terrence? I ain't catch your name, man. I didn't catch your voice, should I say. What's up, brother Terrence?
It's all good. Doing all right, Nathan. Been listening to the show today. Heard some of the calls you guys had come in and wanted to call and let your listeners know that I've opened up an exploratory committee to run against Brad Winstrip for Ohio House 2. Know if people have been paying attention, but we had an election that just took place, and we had a certification of the electors and the Electoral College. All the 50 states that certify the winners and losers of each state, and ultimately we all know that Joe Biden is now the president-elect. And Brad Winstrip took it upon himself to sign on to a piece of a lawsuit as an amicus brief, pretty much undermining one of the very basic core principles and values that we hold true in a democracy, which is a free and fair election. I believe that his actions have been seditious and treasonous, and actually mirrors some of the actions that we fought against when I fought in our Operation Iraqi Freedom twice. We were helping them get rid of Saddam Hussein and also instilling democratic principles, actually taking part and helping to protect their first actual election that took place there. We need to actually restore some decency in our representation. I believe that I'm the perfect candidate to explore the opportunity and take advantage of it if so chosen.
Oh, that's big, bro. Number one, congrats. Well, I've already said how I feel about you, man, and kind of saw the way that you conducted yourself when you was running against Cedric Denson. I think you called and impressed a lot of people, man. I was wondering aloud, I know we're going to hear from this brother again. I'm happy to hear that, man, quite honestly, because I agree with you about Brad Winstrip on that. In general, I already felt that way about him. They can do better in the 2nd Congressional District. But after he made that move, hell no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he he pretty much, in my opinion, showed his cards and showed who he truly is. It's not about representation. It's not about him representing the people here. He's, part of the Trump base. And, I understand political theater is one thing, but when you're actually signing on to a legal document that can ultimately challenge a basic principle in terms of how we operate, not just as states, but overall as a federalist system, I think he's truly undermined his position as a state as a representative for our district, and also he's toned the line along the same lines of some of the most radical people that have we've seen storm some of our state capitals armed, and among those also willing to issue out threats of violence against people. That cannot stand, and that's not representation of what we need, and that should be what's representing us over in DC.
Well, brother, as you make your final decision, or when you do, please let me know so we can come on and talk about your platform and put it out there to the people.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I want to thank you for the time. And again, make sure people understand, this is our country. It does not belong to any one particular political party or individual. Politics is nothing without a demand, and we demand that we have a representative in office that will not undermine basic core values for which we all stand for, and that's democracy.
And most deaf, that's Brother Terrence Grasson, everybody. Appreciate the call, Terrence. Damn, that's big news right there. I'm glad to hear it. I'm not going to come across like I know Terrence personally like that. Just over the years in the chop shop, and then he ran against Cedric Denson, got a chance to see how he handled himself, what he believed in, was at the debates, got a chance to talk to people about him. People were impressed. They saw something right there. And the 2nd Congressional District, I've been saying it for years, can do way better than Brad Winstrup. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a Trumpster. I mean, if you support Trump, you support Trump. You thought his policies were good, he's better than the Democrat candidate, okay. But signing your name on as a friend of the court to a Supreme Court attempt, or an attempt to use the Supreme Court to disenfranchise millions of votes simply because you don't like the fact that Donald Trump left, that's a whole nother level. I looked at it as a betrayal. That is a straight up betrayal of whatever this country is supposed to stand for, all the good virtues that it never really lived up to. But yet people say they, want the country to live up to. And now you out here, you don't like the election. So the results of the election, so you're going to use the courts for your own benefit. You talk about corruption. It just happens to not be violating any federal law. But the concept in and of itself is all about corruption. And Brad Winstrup should be called to the carpet. Now, these cats here in conservative media don't care. They probably agree with it, so they're never going to hold him accountable. Who's going to hold him accountable? In that heavily gerrymandered district called the 2nd Congressional District here in the state of Ohio. So that'll be interesting. I'll be looking forward to that possible conversation in the near future. That'll be dope right there. The people deserve better. The people deserve better. Drop is hilarious. He writes, hope she don't turn out like Lawrence Fishburne's daughter. Number one, how do you know about Lawrence Fishburne's daughter? What you be watching, man? You be on Pornhub? I see you. If you don't know, Lawrence Fishburne, the guy that played Morpheus in The Matrix, among other things, King of New York, he got a long history of great films. But his daughter, she's an adult entertainer. And again, these are these leaps in logic. Like, just because you see somebody, a young woman, a young black woman, dressed sexy, and she 19 years old in college, don't mean she gonna end up on the pole, the stripper pole, which, again, if that's how you make your money, that's how you make your money. Like I said, I'm just cut from a different cloth these days. And the older I get, I start to see things a little differently. I mean, if you're an adult entertainer, like, if that's how you make your money, that's how you make it's honest. You ain't selling no cocaine. You ain't selling poison to our community. You ain't selling that dog to our community. Which is worse? Somebody selling dog, or a woman that's just an adult dancer. It ain't even close. That mofo selling dog. Adult entertainment. Again, do I want my daughter to go that route? No. Obviously, I don't. Chris Rock said his number one job was to keep his daughter off the pole. Well, you're a multimillionaire. That should be kind of easy. That should be kind of easy for you. Daryl Rice dropped toad on himself. He sure did. Charles Rice, folk crying over Sasha, who was living her life post her dad's presidency, but had nothing to say about the Bush daughters who were off the chain during their dad's presidency. Success, exactly. Come on, man. Let them leave. Let them live. Angela Rice, thanks for sharing. Absolutely. Rachel Rice, Billy handled as an adult. Curtis, follow up and have that conversation. Brothers, work it out. Absolutely. Renee Rice, Nathan Ivey, maybe you can get someone on the show that has taken the vaccine to share their thoughts or any side effects they may have had. I'll work on that. I would be interested in that. That would be very interesting. Akeem writes, how much it costs to have questions asked directly? Doesn't cost anything. I mean, people could have called in and made a phone call and he would have heard it. The new Cincinnati was from Jason. Good morning to you. Yeah, they'll work it out. They'll work it out. Brothers going to work it out. Listen, we got a common enemy. It ain't each other. We are not each other's enemy. Now, we can be sometimes each other's biggest problem because of the proximity, but we are not each other's worst enemy. I don't believe that. I don't have no problems with no black men whatsoever. I don't have no issues like that. And I'm not going to get no issues like that. It's just not that serious to me. Good morning to you. We also talked about how 50 children in Georgia were exposed to the virus by Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus, was prompted a whole flow from my standpoint about people keeping it real with their kids with Santa. I do this every single year. I ain't budging one bit. It's suspect to me. Period. Think what you want. Get mad if you want to. It's suspect to me. As my children get older, I encourage them to vigorously exercise their muscles. I want them to exercise their critical thinking. I want my son and daughter to exercise their heart muscle, their lung capacity, all their muscles. But the self-delusion, no, hell no, we ain't doing that. That's a personal standpoint. Now, I will tell you that people, listen, I had a brother, he was dead serious too. I always say this in jest. And I wasn't, about to confront nobody of nothing so silly and less serious as this. But I remember many years ago, because I do this every year. I do this because it's my duty to do this. I do this because I feel like I have a duty to do this. I am liberating parents out there. Whether they want to admit it or not, I'm liberating parents when it comes to Santa Claus. Some of y'all might think it's a small issue. You can think what you want to think. I see the bigger picture. And the ring light. And for me, I remember, again, I was back in corporate radio. I was giving you the similar flows this morning. It might have been like 2 or 3 days before Christmas, and I'm on my whole anti-Santa Claus kick, keep it real. I do this every year. Black man called in. He was on 10, y'all. This brother was on 10. He was mad and a mofo at me. Your kids, and this dude threatened me. I had to hang up on him like, I ain't got time for that, bro. Now, what I look like fighting a black man, or any man, but a black man, we'll put it this way, over some freaking Santa Claus. What that look like? But this brother was real upset about it. And again, I've got this kind of personality, and that's why I said what I said earlier. Oh, I'm getting to you? Oh, B, we're going to keep hitting that button now. Beep, 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 beep. I'm going to keep hitting that button now. What you going to do about it? I wish a mofo would come up to me about some Santa Claus on the streets of Cincinnati. I ain't even going to respond. I'm going to keep on walking. Huh? And keep on walking. I'm not even going to say a word about like, what? And keep on walking. I ain't doing it. Hold on, just got a message here. Oh, snap. Oh, okay. Oh, man, I sent her the wrong one. Yeah, that is the wrong one. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. Texting podcaster. Sorry about that. That's hilarious. Yeah. What would I look like arguing about something? I ain't even. I'm even having a conversation about it. I'm gonna walk straight away. That's it. Not even gonna entertain that nonsense. Like, really? Uh-huh. Okay, B. But 50 Georgia children exposed to virus. Oh my God, this fantasy, man, is killing people. Now, what are these kids when these kids get actually drop rice? Nate, he's asking about super chat. Get to the bag. Oh. Well, you talking about YouTube? Yeah, well, the way YouTube works is you have to have a certain amount of subscribers. See, I learned this, I didn't know that's how YouTube worked. So YouTube has different tools that they make available to the people that use their platform. But you got to have so many subscribers. You got to have so many minutes watched before these things unlock. For Super Chat, I don't remember how much it is. You got to have so many subscribers and so many, minutes watched before YouTube will unlock that. So I don't think I've met that threshold yet. Speaking of which, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit your boy with a subscribe. Hit that bell notification so that you will get notified and at all times. Also, if you're on Cash App and you like to support, my mission, which is to amplify Black voices to create independent media, you can do so with a donation to that Cash App address right there. I appreciate you in advance. And with that, we're over 10. I got to make a move. No podcast today, but my son is in virtual learning and my wife is working from home. Daddy has to do his part to make sure that my son gets what he needs. He's 6 right now. I'm calling him 6. I'm claiming it. But really, speaking of his birthday is actually a month from today, January 16th. So he's nearly 6, which means that he might be turned around. I might get upstairs. He got a Spider-Man mask on. These kids that do anything, man. These kids that do anything. So I got to make sure that the wifey can do what she has to do and do what I made to do for my household. I really appreciate you. Again, you're going to hear more guests, see more guests from all over the spectrum, people, politics, and pleasure, as in Black pleasure in terms of entertainment here on the Nathan Ivey Shows. I've said before, I'm not just into politics. I'm not just a creature of politics. I'm into and have an interest in a lot of different things. And I love to highlight and profile what other people are doing. So look for that. You never know. I am chasing down an interview with a Black prepper to come on and talk about what that means from a Black perspective to be a prepper, like prepping for the apocalypse or the breakdown of the social order. There's some things you can do. Hey, just prepping for severe weather. How many people have had your lights go out or whatever? Are you prepared? Are you prepped for that? So look for that very, very soon. And I got a couple other guests that are percolating as well. And when they come through, you'll be the first to know. So again, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. It means everything. Before I roll out, I got to shout out my patrons this morning. The people that are supporting me, with a monthly donation. They made a commitment. So part of that is for me to shout them out. On a monthly basis. I try to do it more than once a month, but at least once a month, I want to make sure I shout everybody out. And I really appreciate them. So I want to say thank you to Rhonda, to Pamela, to Frankie, to Tanika, to Kush, to Charles, Michelle, James, Monique, Bobby. Hey, Brandon, thank you so much. Gerald, Kelly, Omar, Black Russia, Valisa, Mason, brother Mason out there. What's up with you, bro? Jared, Marcia, Brian, Sean, Jesse, Robin, Ashley, Daryl, K Works, D Wizzle, Tracy, Elizabeth, Cassandra, Bozilla, Patricia Rogers, Brooke, thank you so much. Lee, Cinnamon, Zola, Ray, Dee Dee, I appreciate you. Rachel, Tony and Glenn, thank you so much for being a patron and patronizing, this platform for another month. It means everything. Again, 100% goes straight back in. And we're building every single day. I appreciate you. Because of what you do, I'm able to do what I'm doing. All right. You're lifting me up. I appreciate you. So again, with that, I got to make a move. Have an excellent rest of your day. All right. I wish you a happy Wednesday. I'll be back and hopefully better than ever with you real soon. We'll chop it up on people, politics, and pleasure. All right. If you haven't already done so, you can subscribe to the video feed on Facebook. That way you'll get a push notification whenever we go live, whenever I go live, whenever any shows go live. Coming up this week, of course, on Tuesday, another Midday Juice with Ask Ashley. And then on Friday, Is It Just Me podcast with Donnie B. Donnie will be talking about numerous things, including answering a question that I know is on the mind of a lot of people. Can your employer force you to take a vaccine? What are your rights? So make sure you check out that podcast on Friday. And with that, I got to make a move. Have a happy Wednesday.
The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep
my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a fuck, that's what they don't understand.
I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a fuck, I don't care. Did the for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, I told him it's nothing. In the discussion, fuck all them feelings, I throw on my pain on percussion. The disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you warm a spot at the feast. I've been on go mode, show mode, showboat, rowboat, wave ride, cool shorty, too naughty, pool party.